Hello and welcome everyone to New Moon 2025 Cycle 4, Blood Moon stream number 2. So this stream is going to be the second and last stream of the round robin stage. If you're new to the stream or unfamiliar with how Blood Moon works, then welcome to the stream. Blood Moon is basically our big tournament and happens 4 times a year. And the tournament is split into 2 stages. One is the group round robin stage, which is where we are now, and then the top cut stage, which is obviously decided based on the round robin stage. Only 8 players will advance to the top cut stage and will fight to gain the special Moon Master role. And this is role preserved only for the most recent winner of the Blood Moon and transfers between players. So only one person can have it at a time. And we are doing a fairly new thing, which is the group round robin stage. What this means is that the players are split into groups A and B, and people only play whoever's in their group. Let me show you the groups for this tournament. So as you can see on the screen, these are the groups for this Blood Moon, and what this means that for this Blood Moon, the round robin stage, these players will only play each other in their group, but in the top cut, obviously everyone can play each other depending on who makes it, which can make things more exciting and you can see more revenge matches as well. And this Blood Moon is also the first time we're doing a $50 cash prize for the winner, which is possible thanks to the generous donations of everyone who's been continuously giving to the N1GP and the monthly subscription as well. So thank you everyone for that. And we also have a lot of exciting things coming up for the Ko-Fi page as well. So keep an eye out on that. But with all of that out of the way, joining me today on commentary is going to be SoulXCross. Hello, Soul.
Yo, PZ, I'm glad to be back, man. It's been a minute. Hello, everybody.
Hello. All right. With that, let's head into the setups for our first match of the day with Cha vs Rocku. All right. So that's okay. So first, I'm looking at Rocku's side of the field, and you can see in the bottom right of the Navicast there is that folder pack 2, which is fairly rare.
Now, when you look at folder pack 2, you kind of think to yourself, you know what? This is a really clunky piece. It's hard to work with. You can't really get the size and the fit you quite want, and you lose about on space too because you're not able to fill up the entirety of this grid. But honestly, looking at this build, I think Rocku definitely cooked here. Like, this is such a good build. Like, we have the Cust 1, 2, actually Cust Max, actually, because Folder Pack 2 gives you Custom 2 and Mega Folder 2. So it's like a lot of really good value. The only caveats about this build, and of course you can always play around this, it's not even something you have to deal with, right? Is that you have 1300 HP, which is relatively low. And what, you don't have attack max, but we have Buster Bugs, so who cares? Like, this is an amazing build. I'm really impressed. We don't even have Warp Bug here. That's just insanely high value, man. Like, okay, this means that we can fit on really powerful megas, like Element Man SP, Erase Man SP, and still play what we would consider the normal spread of Navis. We have Element Man, Judge Man, Erase Man, and Ground Man SP, and Tangy Man Star too. Like, this is just such good utility, especially on a G-coded folder, when you have the Heat Dragon, Wood Dragon, Bubble Star, and of course uninstall, and of course you have the machine gun. Like, it's such good value here, and I'm really interested in seeing how Rocku uses this build to his full potential. Now, looking over at Cha's build here, we do have that age-old, true, and tested battle-worn setup of the 1400 Cust Max build, but we're playing it on Gregar. So now this is interesting because in order for Greyguard to attain maximum attack power, we need to have a Buster Up, right? But there is no Buster Up in this build, which is very scary, and this is for one reason. It means now your Gregor Beast can no longer go for beast charges safely on a Life Aura, which can lead you to getting walled out if you don't find this Windwrack, which is why Cha has Windwrack Reg. So we're gonna see Cha sitting on this Windwrack Reg until Life Aura for sure is used, which is why we're gonna be using the rest of the Cust 7 that we have to play whatever it is that our outs need at the moment. So this Regged Windwrack is the most important piece in this build because of the lack of attack plus. And I actually think it's genius to do that instead of regging something like Buster Up, because now we can worry about the Life Aura later, and we have 7 chips in our hand that we can play with and just go ahead and continue our strategy as normal. And attack 4, not the worst for your charge shots as a Greyguard player either. It's really about those Gregor Beast charges that you're missing out on with the max attack. So I'm gonna be interested in seeing how Cha circumvents that in this match.
I don't think you've mentioned it, but Cha's also running fish. This seems a bit fishy. I don't know. I can't put my finger around it.
I mean, it's almost like we're swimming to the next goal or the next net battle here. Right? It's a bit of a trek, if you will. You know? I'm always down to see base, and I'm very happy. We even have the attack plus 30 in here, so that way it could get a very, very nice attack value out of it. Yeah, I think we're ready to hop into this match. Let's just see how this shakes out for Cha and Rocku.
All right, let's head into the match itself. All right, so we can see that red Windwrack, which you've spoken about. I always think it's an interesting decision to go with the red Windwrack or to decide with just using something else or nothing as a reg even.
Honestly, I think regs work a lot. I wouldn't say better for Greyguard, but it works in Greyguard's favor because it's harder for Greyguard to find these chips in the folder specifically, but having it regged means it's always there ready for you. You don't have to hope to open it, right? It is a little scary though, because there's only one Windwrack in this folder, but we do have a lot of really powerful Navi chips that can help us break a barrier anyway. Now, this barrier 200 is very impressive, as is all this area beat. Very important right now. I don't know what that chip was, but it's probably going to be very helpful for Cha in this scene. Wow, barrier 200 immediately dealt with here because of the charge shots.
Yes, so one important interaction to point out is that this barrier was used while in invis, and during invis some attacks do more damage, and notably things that stay on the field, like beams in this case, with the SoulXCross charge shot, can instantly destroy even if it doesn't technically deal enough damage to remove it in one hit.
Now, what's really interesting about Cha's build here is that we have multiple copies away. Wow. Wow, Protoman to get his flash there. How interesting. There's the Life Aura, and oh man, this is going to be a rough turn. This is going to be a turn for Rocku to get a lot of these charge shots, get rid of Rush here thanks to that barrier very safely. It's not looking good for Cha. They literally can't do anything here. But we do have that Windwrack to fall on. We did lose that grab banish as well too. Now, what's really scary about Cha's build is that they do have 2 grab banishes, but there's no Judge Man. Oh, well, there's a grab revenge here too. So there's a lot of ways to get our area back, but no area grabs that I can see at all in this folder. So it's going to be very interesting. Not going to have a SoulXCross lock in play.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they are wearing fast gauge, so they might have decided that they want to play the quick game, maybe land in a few charge shots here and there without relying on area grabs.
Nice, another banish, but this is scary because if Rocku has anti-damage or some form of barrier defense, well, we saw both barriers already. So it has to be something like anti-damage to prevent the damage from the grab banish. And that will allow Rocku to keep all of this area for himself. That being said, I think it's looking pretty good right now. You've done a decent amount of damage to Rocku, but
no.
There it is.
Very
so we need a way to push. Plasma in hand. Okay, we get damage, we get value.
Yeah, I mean, losing all this area is extra bad for the Giga Chip charge running, which you can see in hand here, because base can only target the initial 3x3 of the opponent. So, like in this case, using base here would literally do nothing.
And this is kind of a testament to why people have been rather disappointed in the value that base has brung to the table for a lot of these matches, because we're in a very grab-heavy format, which is also why we see 3 grab banish or revenge in Chaw's folder, because of this very heavy area grab format. But now, because of that, your Giga just loses all this value, and there's not really much you can do about it. Judgment coming in, are we gonna see a combo? Brown Man SP, okay, that's gonna do a lot of damage here. That could have been really spooky for Chaw, because in this configuration, you oftentimes see people go into SoulXCross, right, to try and punish their opponent for camping forward. So that was actually a really interesting decision for Rocku, just in case Chaw decided to go for SoulXCross there.
Indeed, and now going into this turn, just thinking about taking defensive chip. I see they have the Sanctuary in hand, which might be tempting, but the main thing to consider is that they are against Ground Cross, which can chip charge to basically clear out the panel.
Nice. Nice. Excellent use of defensive chip to stall out here. Almost was able to keep that charge shot active for a little while and then make it to the cut stream. That would have allowed them to go into another cross and keep that anti-damage, but no dice here. Going for roll for that extra HP, very important right now. Attack plus 30 going on it as well, because we need as much recovery as possible to keep us in this situation a bit longer. There's Beat, gonna go ahead and take away one of the mega chips. We still got roll here with that extra damage on it.
Ooh,
Meteor Knuckle.
Max damage. The full 8 hits are guaranteed in that position.
Full 8 hits.
Yeah, very rough.
Now, this is what's a little scary about not having many area grabs in your folder. The grab revenges, in theory, are very nice, right? You can always get your area back. You only really need a neutral area to get your damage as Gregor across, because you have 4 crosses that are beam moves, right? It's only SoulXCross that kind of loses out on the value of having an area grab. But if your opponent uses their defenses appropriately, it is incredibly difficult for you to actually feel safe. Last Man's gonna only do half the damage here.
Yeah, I mean, to follow up on your area grab mention, I think what makes it worse for Cha is that they only have 1 wind drag. One of the reasons why wind drag is such a good chip is not only can it remove life force, but also pushes away the opponent. So in last game, if they had an extra wind drag, they would have pushed back Rocku and would have regained the area.
Exactly, but we do have this grab. So this is actually pretty okay, right? Because Rocku is all the way in the back when they triggered rush, they're not going to have enough time to rush forward. You see what I did there? In order to get this area back to begin with. Even if they TFC safely, they're going to end up losing this area no matter what. So that's a really good grab. Revenge there. Crown Man times 2. Yeah, no way. I agree. That was the right decision. We don't want to take giga levels of damage right now.
That would have been 700 and something damage. That would have been devastating.
All right, very smart. Rocku retreats to the top lane so that way Cha has no access to landing any of those shard shots. This is only because Cha decided not to bring air shoes into this Navicuss, so he cannot walk over those holes. And unfortunately, Gregor does not have any crosses or any extended tools to allow them such a power or an ability as walking on broken panels, rather. So this is a little bit of a tricky situation. The timeout on those panels isn't too long though, so we just have to weather it out
Yeah, and I mean, you might look at the HP of both sides and think that Cha is actually in a pretty good position, but I feel like looking at the state of the field and how the match has been going, Cha is actually fairly behind because they had to throw away their Sanctuary, whereas Rocku has their own, and basically they're fighting without any area.
Well, I will say that the charge shot here for Dustcross is pretty slow and reactable. So if you can dodge Charles and then go back up and hit like a charge shot to punish, you can get some decent value there. Another barrier 200 on top of Holy Panels is going to be a lot to deal with. It's tempting to want to use this wind rack, but you need to save it here. You only have the one, and Life Aura is just such a threat, especially on top of these Sanctuary panels. There's nothing else you can do here. We have to change up the panel types in some way, but we don't have Element Man, so that's not an option for us. Heat Dragon doesn't change panel types either. It would have been really nice to have a Wood Dragon here to at least change up some of these panels.
Yeah, and I mean, if that was a neutral area, Chuck could have gone into Beast Out as well and used Elect Breath to break out some of these panels. But unfortunately, the way it is right now, going into Beast Out would probably be a bit of a waste.
There goes the barrier 200 for Cha here. Roll will go ahead and do a little something and heal us right back to 1400 HP. Just keep, okay, the damage has been dealt to the barrier 200. It is now a situation where we can go ahead and do some damage. But I absolutely love how Rocku is not changing up from this cross. He feels very safe. You only have like, what, 2 cursor chips in your whole folder and no air shoes and never gonna have it? Then I'm gonna use the breaking capabilities of my charge shot here to just completely control the situation and the area.
Yeah, I feel like because of these holy panels, Rocku is actually standing behind, which is a bit of a trap because if Rocku had been camping forward to keep the area, we could have had a repeat of game 1 where Rocku just keeps taking all of the area without being pushed back.
Okay, Life Aura is here now, so we're locking this wind rack. You gotta be very careful though, because you do not want to be hit with an attack that cancels out the animation for this wind rack. This wind rack is absolutely pivotal right now, and we need it so bad. It'd be very unfortunate if Rocku did the whole step down erase man combo. Like that would be.
Ooh.
Oh,
okay.
My heart, bro, please.
And that was the perfect timing.
Oh my gosh, I had PZ. I was gonna cry. I was gonna be like, well, Cha, you tried your best, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, in that position, that would have been literally the last option for Cha to remove that Life Aura, because normally in Gregar you can go into Beast Out and use some of your chip charges to do 200 plus damage, but there is these holy panels and Cha has 3 attack instead of 4. Getting decrossed immediately.
Yes, and this is actually particularly unhelpful because Erase Beast has the ability to chip charge and destroy Sanctuary panels, but not getting the chance to do so here is very, very impactful.
I think you mean Elect Beast? Did you say Erase?
Oh yeah, I meant Elect Beast charge, yeah. So like the Elect Beast charge, it makes this like electric breath attack and it just destroys or cracks the panels on your opponent's side of the field, which would have been really nice, forcing them to have to come forward if they wanted that Sanctuary panels. There goes Wind Rack. Beast charging Super Vulcan.
Oh, and it misses anyway. That is very unfortunate. I think they wanted to move through their folder to try to gain some damage, because it looks like Damage Judge is going to be looming ahead on us.
Damage Judge is coming ahead, and Rocku is looking really safe right now. I've got to say, these Sanctuary panels are here to stay. There's nothing to change them or make them different in any sort of fashion. So I'm really not sure what Cha can do here. Going for beast charges? Ooh. Oh, there's the Erase Man. Is there a follow-up here for Rocku? Is the Heat Dragon? Okay, we get the beast charge down. There's Element Man on the bottom of the deck. Oh, of course. Classic Gregar fashion here.
Ooh, So I think this is basically the only win condition left for Chop. Trying to use double point attack plus 30, even on holy panels, that would still do quite a bit of damage.
There's no way Rocku doesn't see this coming, though.
Rocku has to immediately run forward because they are still in flashing, so they have the opportunity to avoid it. Oh no. Oh no. Ooh, okay, so the double point was denied.
Wow! Okay, that's a huge HP swing here.
Ooh!
The double life sword! Okay, now this is a game, baby! Alright, okay. You have the Bubble Star true combo here. Beasting over and to land this combo is pretty safe. Is Rocku gonna be able to dodge it?
Oh no!
That's it! Very nice, very nice. Okay, now we got a game 3.
That was such a turn, and actually base was pivotal in that position, being able to land that
pivotal. I am so surprised that Rocku didn't just speed up ahead. You know the ship is in the folder, you have the area. You can't allow your opponent this opportunity. It's huge, and as it shows, it came back to bite them.
But now that takes us into a game 3 now, with Sanctuary turn 1 again.
Turn 1 Sanctuary is pretty good here. We actually do like to see it. Especially since it was a very big hurdle for Cha in the very first game. So I want to say, like, this is a good decision, but your opponent does have Element Man, and you haven't seen Element Man yet, so it's kind of a situation where, did they open it or do they have it? And if they don't, then we profit, because there's not many ways for them to deal with this. We do see Cha locking into SoulXCross here, which does open up the opportunity to go for a beast version of yourself and then go for that chip charge. Nice, good damage.
Alright, last game Cha tried to use the Elect Breath chip charge to clear out these Sanctuary panels, but was immediately decrossed. But it looks like this time they're deciding against trying to go for that play immediately and maybe trying to get beat. And I think that was actually intentional because Rocku was still flashing. Oh yeah, there it goes. They wanted to get in that Erase Man decross to deny Rocku from that vital Dust Cross.
Now you might be, oh wow, great decross from Wood Dragon here. You might be thinking to yourself, well, you just threw away Proto Man SP. That's a really powerful battle chip to have, right? But you lose out on the damage, but your opponent already has Sanctuary in play, so Proto Man wasn't going to be doing what you wanted it to do anyway, and you have to take care of beat. But also, more importantly, Dust Cross was such a huge thorn in Cha's side for the last 2 games. Denying the ability of your opponent to crack your panels at will is more important than just getting the 290 damage from a Proto Man. We do now have to contend with Tengu Cross strats though. So it's going to be important for Cha to land these grab banishes or this grab revenge to deny this area from Tengu Cross as we see it coming into play immediately. Element Man here is perfect because not walking off this panel means we can change it into a grass panel, retaining our area, go for a grab banish.
Ooh. That was a great turn. Yeah, that's an unfortunate TFC from Rocku because the order of that means the grab banish is going to remove that invis as well. So now Rocku completely lost out on their invis.
This is pretty good for Cha. This is a nice situation indeed. Barrier 200, have to respect it. Got to deal the damage to it in some form of fashion. We could even see a chip charge here for Heat Dragon to try and deal as much damage to this thing as possible. It might seem silly to go for it. Your opponent will know something's up, right? But chip charge on charge cross is so rare that maybe you can catch Rocku slipping on that. Get a good amount of damage done to this barrier, not have to worry about it anymore. Let's see if this is the option they choose.
I think you could have stopped that. It might seem silly because, to be honest, I can't imagine anyone going for the chip charge here. It is fairly undervalued. Ooh, and the Erase Man.
just a second or a frame later, and you would have been dealing with it. Okay, there's ground mana speed. Oh, this is a really, really good situation for Cha. The broken area is not so hot, though. Not too happy about that. Ooh, we can get a really big Risky Honey 2 here, actually.
Oh, yeah. Though, unfortunately, in Gregor, you don't have access to Tomahawk Cross to use it with the ×2. So it seems like Char's thinking about just taking the +30 withdrawal, trying to get some HP and some damage. And it's actually pretty good value as well.
Yeah, I do think it's, especially the defensive capabilities of it as well. It does eat up a decent amount of cust time. You get the HP recovery no matter what, so that's really good. Waiting for the timeout here.
Rocku is in an invis, so Cha was unable to try to get in more hits from that Risky Honey as well.
Once these panels start to clear up, Cha will have the autonomy to move around their field once more, but it's looking a little dicey. Only 2 panels to move between. Can Rocku secure something like a double life sword again? Oh, that's scary.
Ooh.
Oh, that's really scary.
Ooh.
Nice.
Unfortunately, that wasn't chip charge. I'm not sure if that was actually intentional by Rocku, but this blast man connecting is definitely intentional. Using the grab banish to push them
the
back.
grass panel? Oh man, that's so good. Man, that's got to be one of my favorite combos, is using the drag effect or the big push effect from the grab, revenge, or the punish in order to get these really big high value battle chips in the forms of these megas right in a sequence, because you don't flash until the slide ends. Such a cool feature.
Indeed, definitely. And that was the timing on that is actually fairly rough as well, because when you reach the end, you start flashing after a bit, so you need to carefully time it so you land your hit before that happens.
Very high level stuff here. Life for a perfectly timed 2.
Oh, but this is actually fairly scary for Cha. So Cha for the next turn is going to go into is going to try to use that wind wrap to clear that life orb, but being in beast out means you're going to automatically use the beast jump, and beast jump can make it very risky for life orb to land.
Just one misstep from Cha or a forward and back movement from Rocku could make the situation infinitely worse. I like the idea of just going for life orb here, because your opponent doesn't have Tango Cross anymore. So you could just wall an entire turn, especially if there's a Meteor Knuckles involved. Perfect life aura in this situation. Not gonna take any of this damage, and we're gonna just eat the rest of this turn. That's so good. The victory P shots here from Cha. I've seen through all your moves. Actually, this is even better. If Cha goes for the wind rack now in this situation, the chances of Rocku being able to dodge it are very slim. Doesn't want to rush it though.
Yeah.
Okay, I respect that decision.
And to be honest, I also agree with it. It's only one turn. We are on fast gauge. I think you might as well just wait it out. You already have defense in hand with the barrier 200 as well to block a life or element mana speed. Very nice. Getting a few buster shots, and now you can safely use that wind drag without worrying about the opponent being able to dodge it. Very nice patience from Cha. Ooh, and actually, so the situation here was going to happen is Cha's going to use the wind drag, and this will push them until the very back. So even though Rocku has, oh no, the order on that for Cha, I think what they wanted to do was start with a grab banish with a grab revenge immediately, so the area returns to them before Rocku is able to step back. But they wanted to get in that damage and use the machine gun to remove the anti-damage first, which I think was a mistake.
Very good decision here to go into slash. We've already seen the ground man, so we don't have to worry about that. We can go for these shark shots here. We win the damage race. We just have to, this is too close. Woodcross has a really slow upswing, so we could try to use that to our advantage here.
Ooh,
nice. Okay, we're so close. He did it.
Oh no!
Oh, I like this. This is such a situation right now. Your opponent has to stay forward. You walk off this barrier. I actually like the idea of staying in the back row here.
Very nice timing. But the 1 HP. Wait, so
this is so good. Ghost, no. You're gonna lose base this way. Do we care? Do we care if we lose base?
So basically,
no, we don't.
Yeah, so both sides are going into beast over. That dodge by Rocku with the charge shot was critical because they would have been deleted by now if they didn't have it. So they might actually win damage because I think they started on lower HP, but we'll see. And they do.
Yo! Oh man, what a close game. The idea, you see, that base there, it might not have been able to do damage, but what was the powerful point of it was after seeing that double point, you have to be forward. And that means you have to take these charge shots from my SoulXCross. You are forced into this position, and that is guaranteed damage. That was actually an insane set. Really, really cool. Excellent game to both players.
Definitely. And I really want to emphasize that ending there, being able to use ground cross in that position to avoid that charge shot. You only have few frame window, maximum like 5 or 10. And doing that basically allowed Rocku to win. Would have been deleted if they missed that timing. All right. But
wow,
with that,
man.
Such an exciting match to start with, but the show must go on, and we'll be heading into the setups for our next match with bigbird vs Ricochet. Another Falzar vs Gregar matchup, but these players are playing very different costs compared to what we've seen just now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the cust here for bigbird is fairly standard. It is the big HP cust 2, got the charge max, no damage investment in terms of attack max, which is very interesting. I'm not a huge fan of that, but you still have a ton of HP, and the war of attrition can be in your favor in terms of you outliving the opponent. Still a very nice cust, very safe. Cust max, you can get all your damage from your chips anyway. I want to see how this shakes out for that. Looking at Ricochet though, this Navi cust here is very interesting as well. We have cust 7 with, of course, that really powerful shield ability and to beat. Such good value chips and programs here for you to take advantage of if you're playing as Ricochet with Gregar. But you don't have access to air shoes again, or any shoes at all, which is a scary thing for a Gregar player to face, as we've just witnessed.
Yeah, but for that reason, so we can also see Ricochet is running that Sanctuary, but there is also one Holy Panel as well, which is an interesting tech that I think Sainz was one of the first people to use, using Gregar without air shoes and then Holy Panel to allow you to have some freedom of movement, as well as the Sanctuary Panel with starter.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting. Even if you're in a situation where you can't move off of the Holy Panel, you're still standing on a Holy Panel, right? If you can place it and then just step onto it, you are in a very good position because any damage you take is halved and it's not going to be as valuable to the opponent as they had originally intended it, right? So that is just a very powerful chip to have at your disposal. And at the end of the day, if you end up not needing it, what can you do? Beast charge it. Just throw that joint right into the dispenser, get $200 back, please. Thank you for passing go, and we can keep on with the oppression.
Indeed, but looking at bigbird's side, so we can see they are running barcode folder, which, as people are mentioning in chat, there is the potential for the Sun Moon PA, but also the Tornado combo, as people call it. It's basically using Tornado as well as using Concha to create the grass panel, and then Tornado to get that boosted to do quite a lot of damage.
I will say I'm not a huge fan of not having meteors, but I actually kind of like this build the way it's set up also. Meteors is such an interesting chip versus other Falzars, because if you have the area and you're able to collect all that area, you can go ahead, drop a giant meteors on the Tomahawk Cross, and it's a lot of value. Even outside of that, you still get a decent amount of damage if you have the area, but there's not a whole lot of area grabs, if any, actually, in this folder. We have 2 grab banishes and a grab revenge again. So leaving out meteors in this situation is the right call. And you know what else is a right call for a Falzar player? Base Anomaly. That's one of my favorite chips of all time. Gotta throw out those big discs of damage. Honestly, Base Anomaly is a very powerful, very scary chip to go up against. It does a ton of damage. You just have to be wary of those really powerful chips in the form of Geddon.
Indeed, looking at Ricochet, so Ricochet is running Big Hook as their Giga, which is a pretty unconventional option for Gregor to go with. And to be honest, what I like the most about this matchup is the way Honor Knight ordered the matches. So first we saw Gregor vs Falzar, where the Gregor was running base, Falzar was running the hook, or like Meteor Knuckles. And this time it's the other way around. So it's Falzar running the base and Ricochet is running the hook chip.
Yeah, I wonder why he did that. It's almost like he wanted base to have some action today for a certain someone. Let me stop.
Is that a fish on a hook? Very interesting. Very interesting.
It's not bait at all, right? Nah, never. Not even a little bit.
All right, but with that, let's head into the match, see how these players play out. And that is what a start for Big Bird. So you can see they're starting with the 2 B-code navies, as well as roll, bug fix, and the all-star. It's a pretty nice start.
PC, I thought you said you weren't playing today, huh? What's going on here? What do I see?
No. I mean, you know I'm not playing, because if that was me, you'd also see a life aura uninstall and...
Shit. Yo, what do I clip that straight from the horse's mouth? You're never living the allegations ever again.
I'm just saying it as I'm seeing it, you know? It's just facts.
It is what it is, you feel me? That's really funny. But yeah, being able to drop a ton of damage in the form of these really powerful mega chips on turn 1 is pretty good. However, your opponent does play a very, very pesky little animal we all hate to call Beat. And Beat beats Megas. And he don't care. He eats them, beat them, and that's it. But we can just TFC them instead. That's huge damage. 500 straight from the first turn, and you already have 9? I got 2200, boy, and I'm feeling strong, but that anger. There goes Beat. Yep, doing job as job intended. And now we can go for this fast gauge and the turn. Not dropping the fast gauge. How interesting.
So I think Ricochet is also starting with their own 2 fast gauges and in a reg as well. So Ricochet started by using the fast gauge, and so fast gauge is being played, which is probably why Big Bird just throw away.
I didn't see that in the first second. Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yes, and this is actually a very scary position for Big Bird, because Big Bird doesn't have much defense outside of the Sanctuary Panels, and Ricochet has anger status. So Ricochet has an Element Man SP or another big hitting chip that could be very painful for Big Bird.
You know what? I love this play from Ricochet, because no matter what, he's getting value. No matter what, he's getting to be able to destroy these panels, but you give back anger to your opponent. What is this, a game of hockey? Okay, here you can have anger. Okay, now it's my turn to have the anger. Okay, here you go, have more anger. Tee-hee-hee, we're having fun. Not too much to capitalize for this anger, though. We do have roll. Hold on, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe roll times 2 is kind of good. Hold up.
Ooh, I mean, the recovery value of roll is still going to be fairly nice.
True. The recovery value is huge. That's a lot of HP to recover. Very good Sanctuary from Ricochet here. Yeah, I see that anger, big boss. I'm not trying to get dunked on that hard. Let's play it safe. Right?
And actually,
man, the lack of attack value here is kind of frightening. Like, you kind of don't care about these shark shots, right?
Yeah, I mean, Big Bird in this position doesn't really have much to do, but getting the read on life are very nice.
This is a scary position, right? The reason being is that Big Bird instinctively is going to want to keep Tango Cross. Now, what does SoulXCross want to do? Press B plus left. And if their focus is on pressing B plus left to clear the life aura, then I have free real estate to do whatever I want to you in the next few seconds, which would be... Oh!
That was amazing. So that was basically the tornado combo as you saw there. Using Geddon to lock in the opponent and then using Concha to create the grass panels. And the way it works is with grass panels, Tornado, or with any elemental panel, Tornado does double damage, which was devastating in this position.
It's almost like Big Bird wanted to use that entire ideology I had just said to absolute maximum advantage. Like, yeah, you think I want to be left and you're gonna go for your destroy pulse combo, but you're not gonna be able to go anywhere else with these broken panels, and I'm gonna go ahead for a Tornado. Now here we are in game 2. Big Proto Man SP starting us off. Ooh, not getting the fireball here from Element Man is a little upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, Big Bird was in this anyway. I think what Ricochet was trying is to go for Elect to maybe try to limit the movement from Big Bird, but they end up messing out that time anyway.
Man, from that last game, it's almost like Big Bird is trying to tell us something. Maybe he personally prefers the air. Yeah, you know what? It could be that birds like to fly, right? And you want to be airborne as much as possible. This all makes sense. Everything makes sense now.
No. So, but big birds typically don't fly, so I feel like there's an issue with the logic there.
Oh, maybe it's a dream to fly to even higher heights for a bird that can't. Oh, good life aura. That life aura block destroy pulse. Very important. That's a lot of damage Ricochet and does not have access to it anymore. Tornado again with the white pill and the bubbles. Yo, this bird's gonna fly today, PC. This bird's gonna fly today.
I mean, more than birds, just everything's gonna be flying with this play. It looks like.
Oh hey, Assassin Sword can't miss, right? If you catch your opponent in the frame trap, they're gonna just have to take the 200.
Correct. Because of the ice panel, so it's basically guaranteed to hit, and even though it's not going to do damage, clearing off that life aura is pretty nice.
Oh, wow, what a good turn for Big Bird there. Assassin Sword getting the value of dealing with that life aura. We have the double banishes in the hand. We can go ahead and make sure we get our area back. Oh no, putting them back.
I mean, they did get the grab revenge as well, but in this position, we can see that the custom bug is starting to tick down for Big Bird, so that might be influencing why they're deciding to go with chips.
Base. Why
are you saying space?
Base. Do it now. Come on, yes, lock it in. Do it.
See, that's the funny thing.
Okay, all right, here we go.
This field has permahold, which is typically very bad for landing base, but let's see if... Ooh, okay, so it looks like they're going for it. They decided to go with half the damage just to have the safety of being able to land it against the anti-land.
Ooh, not gonna get hit by this Judge Man here. Very fortunate, but he's doing a decent amount of damage here. Not the full value, but getting value at all on permaholes, as you said, bro. That's enough for me. We take those. I'll take half instead of 0.
Indeed, and that custom bug is still ticking down. They are starting to run low on chips, which is more difficult with fast gauge because the turns go by more quickly, so it feels like your cost is sticking down. Ooh, that connects, and these chip charges are going to be painful.
Nice. Yeah, there's no way they don't cross here. There's no way. Like you cross here, right? Right, BZ? You cross here, right?
Yeah, but the problem is, what would you go into? Because going into a fire cross against Spout in this position can be scary. I'm not sure what Ricochet still has access to.
Um,
I feel like,
but you can't be stuck. You can't stay this way, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah, and actually in that position, I feel like if I was Big Bad, I might have tried to chip charge. Oh, but Ricochet had that electro just barely missed. That would have been such a nice punish on the SoulXCross.
Yo, getting the center panel here is kind of cool. Okay, but that means you can't really move off of this panel anymore. Oh wait, no, this is fine because the perma hole here means we can't walk over it, which means we should always have access to this holy panel. So the one scenario where a perma hole is kind of helping you out, despite all of these ice panels around you.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, so in this hand, what I would probably do is I'd probably go get in and chip charge the bug face. I feel like that's... because,
really?
Yeah, I mean, look at the hand. Because if you can land the chip charge, you win. You have like 2,100 HP. If you get to damage judge, you're winning anyway. So you might as well.
Oh man, and you're gonna neg your own holy. Oh, that didn't feel great. Oh, hi, Blast Man.
Okay, never mind. I was wrong. Using that bug fix was more valuable.
Wow. PZ, I don't think Ricochet is long for this world. What do you think? Do you think Ricochet can do 2,000 points of damage on this upcoming turn? Do you think that's a possibility?
So that's the interesting thing is Ricochet doesn't need to do that much damage because we've already seen Big Bird use. No wait, they didn't use for this game, but basically they start with a higher HP. So if Ricochet can get into damage jumps, they still have a chance they can land big damaging chips. Ooh, big hook!
That's the lance. Oh, big hook. Not being able to do the full damage lance was the perfect setup.
Ooh,
that was a perfect setup too.
Never mind. Yeah, this looks very rough for Ricochet. Even if they can survive until the next time, that's just gonna be a game.
Oh yeah, no recovery chips in this folder, so it's not like we have the option to probably go for another undershirt proc there. That was a rough game. That was a rough game indeed.
Yeah, and I mean, look at that thumbnail as well. The highlight of that match with the tornado. Even you can see the sprite is green because it was used on a green panel as well. That very small detail, which I very much like.
Yeah, very, very throwback to like Battle Network 3 or in Battle Network 2 with the twister chips and such, right? They got a little color change here for you. Why not? We can do that. We can make that happen. Very nice. Good games to both players. Big Bird learned to fly today.
With that, let's head into the setups for our next match of the day with Rookie Spark vs Shockbot Special. Alright, this time I guess we are going back to both players playing Falzar, and I feel like we have still fairly unusual setups from looking at it. So we have the folder pack one, which I think is actually pretty underrated.
Yeah, folder pack one is a very fishy looking program. You know, it's like a lot of decent values in a single package. It's not an immediately obvious great shape, but you can definitely get in the river and start swimming with this one. I think this is a very good, efficient cust that uses folder pack 1 to its maximum potential. We have super armor. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Okay, we have hub badge. We do still get our power abilities with undershirt back. You know, there's just a lot of great value here. I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the folder from LDR or Shockbot Specialist, you can see they're running E-code with that boiler strat. So we've seen LDR use that in previous streams. Basically, they tried to go for that combo with boiler. So I wonder if we'll see it happening in this game.
Honestly, that combo is very underrated. It's you cannot stop it if you don't have the right defense. Right? Once it is really hard to stop.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that, but I guess we'll see if LDR proves me wrong and actually lands it this game. But with that,
Ricky Sparks, on the other hand, is running a pretty interesting build themselves. We have the bugs fixed. We got Beat. We got Rush. We got our animal friends with the Cuss One, a ton of HP. Super Armor's in here as well. Even the undershirt, very important to have that around as well. Only one attack investment, which is scary to not have more, but at least you can still do a decent amount of damage with your Buster Bugs. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, there's Buster Bug, at least level 1 here.
Yeah,
so, okay, that's fine. Well,
it's fine.
Yeah,
it happens to the best of us.
Well, I guess we don't have that a lot. But this is a decent cast here. I kind of do like it. Attack +1 though. Any attack is good. I think any attack under 3 is like not preferable in my opinion. Like, do you really need 1900 HP? Is 1800 not enough to get the job done and have a little bit more attack investment too?
I don't know. It can work, but it's definitely dependent on the folder choices. And in this case, we see another R-code folder being used, but this time Ricky Spark is going to be looking for the Sun Moon PA because they actually have meteors, unlike
yeah, I mean, of course, the Sun Moon PA is really strong, but it's not a necessity. We can always use the pieces individually, but there is the ability for it, and we could possibly see it, and I want to see it. Do you want to see it, PC?
Indeed, and with that, let's head into the match and see how it plays out. Alright, and we see the R-code start from Ricky Spark, so they have the potential to actually have pretty explosive turn 1. They can go for that Bubble Star Dol Thunder, which is a very solid combo. There's quite a lot of damage and can be fairly reliable to land as well.
A lot of people think that, Bubble Star combos are better than Gregar because, yeah, you can get the extra damage on the Dol Thunder and it's good. But I raise you, I can chip charge the Bubble Star and get $100 damage from there. You know what I'm saying? So like it's still really good no matter which version you're playing, especially since SoulXCross is pretty efficient for a cross. Really fast charge time. Sometimes the hitbox on your charge shot is a little underwhelming, but it's fast. So you're gonna be able to throw out a bunch of them quite often. And then of course the double damage from the Dol Thunder, it's very value indeed.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the main issue with going in SoulXCross is that your opponent might be able to tell you have the Bubble Star, so what you can do is try to maybe play the mind games and maybe go into SoulXCross without Bubble Star and take it into the next turn. But looks like Ricky Spark is going to be using that Meteors immediately on turn 1, which unfortunately is going to be walled by that Life Aura.
Yeah, Life Aura is going to make it so that you do not care. Actually, spending the cash and showing your opponent that you have used this ability already or this battleship already is a pretty bad idea. You kind of don't want that information to be given to your opponent because now Tomahawk Cross is on much more online than it would have been. I mean, I guess there's Element Man SP and Element Man, so there is still that fear for Tomahawk Cross, but that's one less thing that LDR has to worry about for Tomahawk Cross in general.
Yeah, and I mean, they also know that Sun Moon PA is not going to be used this game, so that is another thing they don't have to worry about anymore.
Yeah, so getting locked by a Bubble Star might mean some good damage is coming out, but not an uninstall behind it with piercing on a defensive chip or anything of that sort. So yeah, sometimes not using a chip is a valid option. Don't always do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially in this case where it didn't really do much. But looking into the stand, so Ricky Spark is thinking about going into Tango Cross and then using that feedback ability, but they're deciding they want to go with an offensive turn, taking the Bubble Stars and Dol Thunder, or maybe defensive with a Life Aura, though it looks like offense is going to win for now. Ooh, the immediate forecast from LDR. So LDR with this play is basically trying to dig through the folder as much as possible with Dustcross's ability and trying to find that bug fix as soon as possible, because they do have custom bug, which we've seen in the last game how it can be pretty devastating if it keeps going.
The Gust makes quick work of the barrier here. Bees are going to go ahead and dispel that anti-damage, and then beat coming through just to eat something up. Oh, Element Man, do we have sword chip in folder?
No, so LDR Eco does have
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
The double hit, that was actually pretty bad. So I was saying beforehand, Eco does have the elixir, but LDR is not running it. And what we saw in that interaction with the Bubble Star, basically what happens is Bubble Star keeps going even after it hits. So if it hits player while they're buffering their movement, it can hit multiple times, which usually can be good because it means you take more damage, obviously. But in this case, it meant LDR is not going to be hit by the bubble status, which basically saved them from 360 damage with all thunder.
All right, Beast out now in play here. LDR found Hub Batch. That's gonna go ahead and ease the pain a little bit off of the custom bug. We didn't find bug fix just yet, right? For LDR?
No, not yet.
Okay, will we see a cross change? Could see Tomahawk coming out in the next move. Oh, Element Man SP would be a really good cover for that. And in fact, it's a good pick right now overall. There's not a lot of chips you can flexibly use to their max potential. And Element SP can do a decent amount of damage. So bringing that here, I kind of like that. Bubble Star could be saved, I believe, but...
Yeah, I mean, in this position, I feel like the other thing to keep in mind is trying to go through your folder a bit. I wouldn't mind taking the Super Vulcan with Beast at this turn, but I think any of the options you have on code now work.
Okay, that's the cross change for LDR here. Gonna go for this instead, not going for the wood. Interesting.
Yes,
no.
Yeah,
this is what I was afraid of.
Yes.
This is what I was afraid of.
There's going to be the full combo, going to do massive damage.
Big combo. Big combo. Ricky Sparks is now in a situation where not many options are available to you, but we're also low on area, low on HP. Is not a good situation you want to be in. I like the idea of trying to go for the defense here, maybe a Bubble Star, eat up some time on this turn so we can buy ourselves another one. But there goes the Tomahawk Cross. After seeing all the fire chips coming out, I can very safely and very surely go for this pulse combo and end the game going right to game 2. Very well played from our dear friend LDR.
Yeah, I mean, being able to land that little boiler combo was so devastating. And then the good thing about these pulse codes, so E code, J code, and the A code, is they have access to Elect Pulse 2. And in the international release of BN6, unlike the Legacy Collection, Elect Pulse 2 has no delay upon using it. So you can very quickly follow up with something else and basically guarantee that deletion.
Do you think that was a good nerf for the Legacy Collection to go ahead and do for Elect Pulse 2? Do you think like Elect Pulse 2 was an overbearing strategy? I can see the arguments for both sides.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like regardless of the balance, like it being a balanced decision, I think it's more interesting that they went with it because the only changes we've seen were bug fixes. So does that mean Elect Pulse 2 working like this was technically a bug and they never realized? I find that unlikely, but it seems very weird why that was the only balance change they did.
Yeah, it's very interesting. There's a lot of stuff that they didn't want in the original game, like obviously 100% procs on Larkman patch card is pretty annoying, right? Like you don't want to lose all your chips because your opponent landed a charge shot that's really kind of hard to dodge in some instances, right? At the same time, we developed metas around these abilities being what they were, and to change them so drastically so late in the game kind of makes it undesirable in a way, right? Like, I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about it. Either way, going for Element Man here is excellent to get rid of all those sanctuary panels, but not so excellent to go and you lost 2 defenses and a cross. Oh, maybe you don't like to see it. And now you about to eat it. Oh. Okay, you know what? I'll take it. He's just gonna walk forward and start pushing B in my face. So rude. Oh, okay. You know what? That wasn't preferable for LDR, but getting a ×2 erase, man, is pretty good. That felt pretty nice. That was like basically using the SP chip. Grab revenge here. Not what you really wanted to see, but getting this area grab. Oh, that's pretty good. That's really good for LDR. Nice. Element can do ×2 damage here. Interesting. Okay, we want more grass. Interesting as well. Only 2 hits, man. So underwhelming. And of course, SoulXCross is in play, so holes don't even matter here. Not the greatest amount of value for this chip that you would like to see. But what we do see is a very powerful beast out into a Super Vulcan play coming right at you. 500 damage if this lands correctly. Now, it's kind of scary because walking up and down can lead to LDR being clipped in a way that he kind of still moves. So you can avoid the rest of the damage and only take like the first hit. So you really want to bait your opponent into just moving forward.
Ooh, rush activating there is not ideal because LDR now has the opportunity to follow up with what they want. Element Man SP on grass.
Is there a light post?
No way.
LDR.
Oh, and stepping back into that Super Vulcan. What is happening? What is going on?
No, he's molding. He's molding, bro. He's not happy. He's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? No. Stop, please. Oh, man. How unfortunate. He's like, what did I do? What did I do? I just made my combo look bad.
The worst is you can see it after LDR threw that little boy off the screen. You can see the pause for like a few seconds and they're standing in place, just looking.
He just looked at it, bro. He didn't even move. He was like, all around me your familiar face. Oh, okay. Hold on. I guess it didn't matter. But I guess I'm sorry. I'm sorry for laughing at you. Wait, roll. Saving a life as per usual.
Where's Kenny? If that connects, is the mythic going to be enough? I don't think so. I don't think it's quite enough. Yeah, only 2 hits. But the chip charge. Okay, so going for defense, so that means we'll probably have another turn in this game, but it's very close. And Rookie Spark does have these recoveries as well.
Oh, the recoveries are huge. The recoveries are so huge. Not a whole lot of damage available after that burst just now. So we're gonna see a situation.
Okay, so very interesting. Looks like Rookie Spark decided against the recovery and went for Bubble Star. Tried to go on the offensive instead of defense. But it's very scary when your opponent has things like Eloc Pulse as well. You can very easily land and go for that deletion.
Ooh. Oh, taking the damage here. Oh, you need to walk forward immediately. A crossing here is the right decision. Walk forward. You'll be at 1 HP. Smash that A button like you're trying to hit a like on a video, and then throw out the defense. I think this is doable, but it's really close. I think the cross chain is very important. What are you doing? What are you doing? Sparks?
So they still have the Bubble Star in hand, but yeah, there's definitely no way you want to go for Bubble Star.
Yeah, you kind of gave me a fright there, my friend. Oh, he didn't even take the last damage. Oh, that's profit. Oh, late hut batch. Oof, you don't like to see that. Go for your buster shots. Go for charge shots. Bold.
I mean, in this position, they only do 2 damage and there is no buster bug, so these buster shots wouldn't really do much. But this is...
You can't power up the books, right?
Sorry?
You can't power up the books, right? That's not how that works.
No,
okay.
So the only way to boost them is through ×2 with Anger or for Synchro. they don't get boosted.
How much area do you have? 2-4? 40 damage? That's still pretty good. Not gonna get the hit that you wanted. That's non-flashing though.
Yeah, I wonder what LDR has left, because he's very obviously trying to remove the anti-damage and he succeeds, but is there any follow-up? Oh, Judgment misses. Alantman SP, very risky play, but there is undershot thanks to that hub badge, so LDR survives for another turn. Oh, never mind. Looks like they're out of chips, so not much surviving is happening, but that takes us into a game 3.
Maybe he ran out of chips at that point. Maybe he just had nothing left.
Yeah, because
he could have skipped that turn.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been custom bug because we've just seen LDR use hub bite. So yeah, I guess it was just all out of chips.
Very interesting indeed. Okay, well, this is game 3 after all. We do have another chance. Maybe LDR's not gonna mess up the combo this time. We saw that he could do it, you know, in the first game, you know what I'm saying? So like, I'm sure it'll be fine, but we're gonna have to see what happens next. Life Orb turn 1 is always really nice. Dealing with beat turn 1 is also always very nice. Sanctuary coming into play here. Also an air grab, making sure that Ricky Sparks doesn't get value out of it either.
Yeah, and in this position, so using the area grabs while Ricky Spark is on the ice panels is basically going to deny Ricky Spark from using that middle row. So unfortunately, Ricky Spark is going to be stuck in the area, which is actually bad because there are some configurations you can get for guaranteed erase man, which means basically by getting rid of that dust, you can enable these boiler plays.
Yeah, and all you have to do is kind of just step up, right? Oh, well, Invisible is coming into play for some reason. What? Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay.
The combo getting counter hit followed up by that machine gun to get the D-cross.
I love trying to get a read on the movement there by LDR, going down instead of up to get that charge shot out. But Ricky Sparks is in a terrible situation. I'm not sure why LDR needed the invis in the beginning of that opening hand. He could have just not done that.
Yeah, I mean, might have used it to try to preemptively deny a bubble star from disrupting the combo, or like risky on or something like that. But it did basically go to us in that position.
Yeah, I mean, you had the barrier though, no? Because Bubble Star wouldn't be able to hit through that barrier unless you walked into it twice, I guess. So that does make sense in that regard. Grab Revenge just waiting the hand, hoping the opponent just goes for a grab. Doesn't see it though.
Now both sides have their own holy panels. Basically, the whole field
My
is...
sanctuary.
Yep. My
sanctuary is like...
I can't believe Soul's trying to get DMCA claim on us. I can't believe.
Fears and lies.
It's like, no one would be able to tell we haven't actually played the video. It's just, how could you do that?
True. Well, hold on. It's so late in the stream. I feel like it'll be okay. Like, they're not going to be like, 2 hours and 50 seconds in the middle of the stream, they sing Sanctuary, get them. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Famous last words, right? Oh.
Speaking of last words, so these Sanctuary panels are now going to enable LDR to get that Holy Aura combo, which means that Life Aura has to take 400 damage to be removed or win it, but unfortunately that Bubble Star is not going to do much even while charged.
Okay, you can keep the hand, but you have to change to Tengu. That's the only way. But you're looking at a Tomahawk cross, and they're not going to get stunned. So you're going to lose Tengu just as soon as you got into it. And if you press select real quick, we can see how much of the charge. Okay, perfect. Not enough of the charge yet, so you will have the time to be left and then like do your best to do some damage.
Yeah, but
otherwise you have to throw the hand away.
Yeah, I mean, so in this position for X-Spark, if you miss that B back input and get D across, not only do you get D across, lose one of the best crosses in Falza, but also you have to throw away your chip next turn anyway. So, a luck pulse immediately followed up by the Judgman. So it was actually, is the combo going to happen again?
Don't grasp.
Yeah,
right,
okay, nice. Bit of go for ice panels, but that is such a small thing to happen at this point. Let's see if LDR is going to land that combo, and it looks like it does.
So much damage. On sanctuary panels too. Look at all the damage that combo does. It's really tricky to stop. It's really tricky. You think you might have it, but it's the elect pulse that ties it all together quite nicely. Because when you try to walk under that inevitability of the little boiler elect pulse, now you're in front of me. The boiler lands and it's already checkmate at that point, right?
Yeah. It was such a rough turn for X-Spark because they also ended up getting one frame on that wind drag and getting it interrupted as well. So LDR still has that life aura, still has Tomahawk Cross, so now it's going to be very difficult for them to try to clear it. They can try to go for Tingle Cross or Element Man SP, and in fact using both can do quite a bit of damage to Tomahawk Cross if it connects, but let's see if that works how Rookie Spark wants.
All right, here we go. We do see the cross change now. Ooh, very good. Not going to get the freeze here, which would have been very, very bad for Ricky Sparks.
Oh, no. This is actually bad for LDR. So he probably went into grass because he has his own Elementsman SP afterwards. But what this means is he will take an Elementsman SP and the D cross. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you should have been throwing out those P shots. At least make them a little scared. But it's not like the P shots do anything either.
And getting decrossed. This is looking like a very rough spot for Ricky Spark, having to work all that HP. What are we seeing? No, so it's not quite Sun Moon PA, and it seems like Ricky Spark is just going to take the attack plus 30 withdrawal, trying to get some HP back. Another air grab, some defense, very nice patient from Spark, waiting for the TFC, trying to get that confirmed damage in.
Nice. Nice. And you know what? Not for nothing, this is the value of having Buster Bug in these kinds of situations, because you're in a situation where you can't deal damage, right? But having the Buster Bug means you can always consistently do either the P-shot damage or charge shot damage, depending on the numbers.
Yeah, and I mean, in that position, Rookie Spark could have tried to go for the charge shots to clear the anti-damage, but what we're seeing here is that Meteors, so because it's in a time freeze, Meteors would do times 2 damage on all of the hits, but the field configuration is actually very bad because it does less damage the more area your opponent has, and this is quite a lot of area, which makes it very hard to get value out.
This is a big turn for Ricky Sparks here. If you can scare your opponent out,
I think, to be honest, the best use of Meteor is just to try to clear off that anti-damage word.
Oh, nice!
Another one.
That's 2 hits. 3 hits on that, still very valuable. And the D-Cross, we also have access to the Bs here. I think I throw the Bs away at this point and go for the Erase Man, because we have to be able to deal with that trap. We don't have a lot of HP or time to wait around.
Yeah, I mean, in that position, for the previous turn, I wonder if Rookie Spark should have just used the Meteors to deal with the first anti-damage, then the second Beast to deal with the second anti-damage, and then the third
again, not having Buster Bug.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Like, even if you could have charge shot off the anti-damage, that would have been high value.
Oh, but this could still be amazing, because if LDR keeps using the Beast Buster, then that could mean these risk cannons will do massive damage. Let's see if he does.
Nice. The recovery. The 1 HP. I don't know. I don't know. Press select. You have to press select. We got to see what's going on. Is there a feather? He took damage already. There's a chance. There's a slim chance, dude. How much HP does he have?
I mean,
you gotta lock it in.
Yeah, I don't think this is winnable position for Rookie Spark, because these Beast Busters very quick. So even if you can get the movement back and land the Super Vulcan combo, that's still not quite enough damage. LDR still has 1,000 damage. It's quite a lot to work through this position.
Oh. Yeah, no, this is rough. No, this is checkmate. It's not much you can do. Even if you mash out and you get the mash and 8-hit meteor knuckle by some miracle, it's just not enough. Oh, or not.
Oh.
You're 200. That's a pretty good chip. Mash. Oh, not enough.
I mean, it was already a very small window to even use that erase man, which I'm surprised, to be honest, they were able to do it. But that would have been a very difficult position to survive after all of that.
Oh, intense matches today, PZ. Oh, it might be time for a quick break, man.
All right. And as Sol's saying, so we are going to be taking a quick 10-minute break before we head into the next match. Our next match is going to be davidvvv vs Thiago after the break, and it does have that little weird star next to the name, which I guess we'll have to wait until after the break to find out. All right. And that was the end of our break. Thank you, everyone, for waiting. But with that, let's head right back into the action with the setups for our next match with davidvvv vs Thiago. Alright, so looking at both players' sides, so you can start by looking at davidvvv, and we can see they're running S code, which is actually a very nice code. You have a lot of powerful combos. You have things like Bubble Star with Elect Pulse, or I thought S code had another Elect chip, doesn't it?
It does. I think it's Doll Thunder. Why am I thinking on that? I think it is Doll Thunder, actually. Hold on.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, it is still a very strong combo, and they do have that Slashman SP, which is definitely a highlight of that, as well as the Aqua Dragon with Falzar's SoulXCross being able to do ×2 damage for devastating combos. They also have the N-Code setup with W-Code Splash as well. So N-Code has the Meteor Knuckles Near Vari, a very popular combo we see a lot of people using. And then W-Code overall has a lot of solid chips like that Barrier 200 and the 2 Magnets.
So yeah, I just looked it up real quick, and yeah, we do have Elect chips in here, but it's Elect Pulse 1 and Elect Pulse 3 for our Elect chips. Yeah, which isn't bad. I think I do like Elect Pulse 3. I just don't like that it reapplies flashing.
Yeah.
But Elect Pulse 1 is an amazing chip just for being able to give your opponent a short amount of paralysis, giving you a little bit of leeway to follow up with something maybe like a Mega Chip. It doesn't work exactly like Elect Pulse 2 in the fact that you can immediately act as soon as your chip has come out, so it's not like a frame 2 kind of thing, but it's still a very powerful chip.
Indeed. Looking at Thiago's focus, so we see a bit of M-Code, a bit of L-Code, both are very powerful chips. We also see that Meteor Knuckles, but I don't think there is more. There is Near Vari. I think Thiago is more of a Muramasa kind of player. Yeah, so we see that Muramasa Rescue had a Grab Banish in M-Code, but there is Gundam Soul 3 in M-Code to go with that Meteor Knuckles. Very interesting.
I mean, why not both, right? Why not have the Muramasa and the Near Variable? You know, like, you split all. Yeah.
Fair enough. But
only certain players do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is very strong to go with both, but I feel like the input, if you're uncomfortable with the input or you don't really want to go for it, then you just go with Muramasa, which is still a very solid chip.
Yeah, you know, I gotta say, Thiago's cust is pretty interesting here as well. We do have the rush to beat. Super Armor is giving us a warp bug as well as an additional buster bug. And then, of course, we have the cust with that undershirt in here, all neatly tied in. I actually really do think this is a pretty spicy chip, especially because warp bug can be very good at defending against things like BDT, or even machine guns in certain instances. It can be difficult to land on them. Really interesting seeing how he utilizes such a powerful ability.
Indeed. Before we head into the match, you want to say on that match list, this match had a star next to its name. And if you're unfamiliar with that, what this means is double VOD. And I guess you will see what double vote means now. Let's head into the match and see how it plays out.
Did they both just have Tengu Man? Oh, well, one of them wrecked Tengu Man. That's really funny. Same slot and everything. It's a mirror match, mirroring the match.
Yeah.
Wow.
It actually gets very confusing when you have both sides of the screen because it's such a foreign thing you're not used to. But what I'd recommend viewers to do, and to be honest, I sometimes do that myself, is look at one side of the field, and then maybe during the custom, you can look at both, see what they both have in hand.
Exactly. That's what I like to do as well. But being able to see both players' hands is just pivotal to understand what happened during the course of the match and how things shaped out and why players decided to do what they decided to do. This is going to be a speedrun challenge. Rush. Oh, no. Looks like we're going to be winning on Thiago's side here.
Okay, so that interaction allowed Thiago to only take the 200 damage from one cube instead of taking both cubes, but it looks like Beat is going to take that Tengu Man.
Yeah, Tengu Man now is gone. Not too big of a loss. We do have Tengu Cross after all. It's pretty good beat bait, and especially if your opponent's playing Gregar, you can use it to go ahead and do ×2 to erase, which is why Tengu is really nice. Oh, this is a really nice hand to Thiago. Oh, I like that very much, what I see.
Yeah, I mean, having that on the right-hand side is Thiago, so having that bug fix and Element Man SP as well, but deciding to go with that Magnum, so maybe looking to decross davidvvv or disrupt their play by making them lose that vital dust cross. So if you look at davidvvv's hand, so it's a very different option, very different hand they have options to, so you can see potential for these aqua combos with aqua dragons, or maybe taking that guardian with it.
I like Guardian as a chip, especially since it comes on code with the Barrier 100s. It's such a cool and niche thing to see, and you get some pretty good applications out of it, especially if someone is using a battle chip like Blast Man or Proto Man. You can just straight up block those attacks with that singular chip. All right. Tengu Man is really good here. Deals with the barrier, deals with the anti-damage in one chip. Pretty high value.
Unfortunately, missing that Judgment, and what this means is
nice.
davidvvv is also getting decross out of dust.
One book did appear, so if this machine gun does happen to scare Thiago out, they will get the area back, and there it is. Very nicely done. At the tail end of that turn, able to push back Thiago and get the decross and get the area back.
Definitely, and now looks like davidvvv is considering going for these aqua dragon combos we've spoken about. But on the right, Thiago is thinking about going with these and maybe a fast gauge. Fast gauge would obviously make it very difficult for davidvvv to get out all of these chaining combos with Spark.
It'd be very interesting to see Magnum and Barrier. Awesome decision, because now we're not going to be too bothered by the fast gauges. Oh, chip charging them, dodging the Magnum here because of the Beast Rush. Really nice. Barrier 200 going up as well, and now we see fast gauges coming into play and a battle chip that we can chip charge to do double the damage to that Barrier 100. I guess one of the moves missed because Barrier 200 is still in place, so pretty good value here for David, but man, that was a really good decision for Thiago. I liked how he sequenced that.
I think Thiago doesn't have attack max. I think both hits actually connected, but because Thiago has attack 4 instead of attack 5,
right.
That means they do less than 100. So that barrier probably has like 20 or 30 experience. Thiago taking Gandalf, so he's definitely going to look to chip charge it because there is no way to confirm it landing in this position. Barely avoiding the Element Man SP on grass.
Nice.
Going back and forth with their paralysis.
One lasts a little bit longer, so they'll have the advantage. I love the golden wings here. It's such a great frame. I love that so much.
Yeah, I mean, just, to be honest, some of the frames of this game are so amazing. There's a lot of work that went into these games.
This is a really good hand for David. I'm not sure what he's going to decide to go with here. You could go for Tomahawk Cross, get that nice status guard, and just go for some really quick beast charges or a couple of combos, get some area going. I like the idea here, but it looks like Thiago might have Element Man planned. Okay, no, just going for the Life Aura instead. Just valuing defense on this turn. Just a little scared of what the opponent can do.
Yeah, but looks like davidvvv's turn is basically going to be nullified. Both sides taking their own Life Aura. Let's see if Thiago has anyone to. I don't think so. Yeah, it was an erase.
Nope.
Can't be Life Aura.
David now knows that Erase Man is not in play for Thiago here as well, but we do have a Wind Rack, which means we don't have to worry about going into Tango Cross necessarily. Don't even have to worry about going into a cross at all. That means we can conserve our resources here just a little bit longer and still deal with the barrier. Rely a little bit on that Buster Bug strat, do a decent amount of P-shot damage here. I actually like where this is going. But for David, it seems like they have to lock in a choice here. Going for this Tengu means you are vulnerable to something like a Muramasa. But I do believe there is a bit of value in this, right? Because we did see Erase Man come out already, so we don't have to worry about it. Nice, didn't get the freeze, but got the bubble instead. It gives me the opportunity for a time to elect pulse. Very nicely done here.
Yeah, I mean,
no Muramasa inside.
This turn, you saw davidvvv taking 5 chips, but that is actually fairly uncommon in slow gauge turn, because as you saw there, chip animations and deciding when to use your attacks can sometimes mean you don't have the time to use everything in hand, and now davidvvv is going to have to throw away some of his chips, basically for nothing.
Not an ideal situation, but at this point, you kind of made your bet, you gotta lie in it and go with a new hand, because I don't think that last hand was ideal for this upcoming situation. Element Man here was the perfect choice, but the better choice was having the Invis, not going to take any damage and recover to boot all the way back up to 1000 HP. Barrier 100 is nice and all. Caught the opponent lacking, hit this here, Punisher, baby! What flashing you got now? Oh, and all this area is really good. Meteor Knuckle looking stronger than ever. But there is a momentary reprieve for Thiago here. He is, in fact, still flashing. But what can he do in such a situation? One area grab after this area Meteor Knuckle, it's not going to be serving the purpose that he definitely wants. But you can at least be left, go for Tengu, drop an area grab, and maybe catch the opponent in a very, very fortunate configuration. Get the max amount of hits out of that. Okay, ooh. Meteor Knuckle just throwing it out there, wants the trap instead? Oh, but doesn't even get the full trap here. Okay, that configuration wasn't too bad actually, because it meant that in order to get damage, David would have to commit to moving all the way forward, and they did not want to do that at all.
Oh no, Thiago's going with a Bottle Star Elect Dragon combo. Disconnects on Spark Burst. That can be devastating, can do quite a lot of damage, and davidvvv doesn't have any defense in hand. Let's see if that connects, and it does.
Oh, you hate to see it. Is that Muramasa in hand? With, of course, this configuration of having a Geddon as well. A Beast over could mean the end of the game. This is intense. Bringing Element Man here is the right call either way. I think that's going to be a very powerful chip. You want that Muramasa to stick very well and do a hearty amount of damage. Put them to that 1 HP if possible. So you're going to want to save that for last. But looking at this hand for davidvvv, man, we got Meteor Knuckle and the Neo variable in hand and all this area. I don't think Thiago is quite prepared for such a huge reversal. It all comes down to this anti-damage that Thiago is sitting on right now. That's not what you wanted to see.
Element Man SP.
Element Man SP?
Connect. doing 240 damage, making it harder for davidvvv to get that win. But don't forget, Thiago is stuck with these panels. At least, never mind. So this next turn is looking like a getting into more master play. If davidvvv doesn't have any answers, which looks like it doesn't, this might be a game.
Oh, that duck under! Oh, it's not going to be enough, though. Nice!
Unfortunately, that well still connect, bringing Dave to 1 HP. His final option is to go for the Beast Over play, trying to rely on the Meteor Knuckles and Beast Over AI using the correct attack. This could still go for davidvvv. If Meteor Knuckle lands enough hits and the Mirror connects, that would be game.
I didn't see a lock-in for Beast Over for either player. Thiago's thinking about it. He's feeling comfortable. Has 769 HP. That's a pretty big number. He's a little too comfortable. My friend, you made a mistake. Take this damage.
Three hits.
No. Not enough. Oh man. Oh, yo, just one hit away. Oh, the undershirt was just so much value just then for davidvvv, keeping them alive to get this nail-biter of an ending. Maybe they should have gone for double life sword, but I think that applies flashing. No, yeah, so going for the beam sword was the right play. It just came down to RNG from the Knuckles at that point. Oh, man.
Double life sword actually doesn't apply flashing. The only time it applies flashing is when chip charged with SoulXCross. So using it normally there would not have applied. But I think the issue is that it takes so much longer to get in the animation and the input as well, because it's such a hard input. You can sometimes get hit while you're doing the input. So I definitely agree with the play of going into Supersonic Beam. But I feel like in that position, going into Beast Over might have been your best bet, to be honest.
Yes, Beast Over would have definitely saved you. But at the same time, you don't get control of how near variable attacks then, right?
Yeah. So
but at that point, you might even get the double life sword though. So Beast Over is the answer. Beast Over has to be the answer.
All right, but going into game 2, so we see turn 1, both players are activating or soon to be activating the Helpanabu. So what? Oh no, waiting on beat. Seems like davidvvv is going to keep that hand. Maybe still wants to get value out of that Tengu Man. Try to remove beat, and looks like Thiago has pretty big hands, so he can go for that Elect Dragon, uninstall, Element Man SP. There is more Massa, but wait, that has such a low HP. Why would he take the more Massa there? And after Geddon, because in this position, davidvvv can potentially just avoid the whole Geddon by stepping one panel over.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Yeah, I mean, even if that decrosses davidvvv, to be honest, I don't.
Okay.
Chip charging the Geddon.
Oh, you raised this is really bad.
Getting
nice.
decrossed, and Thiago doesn't even have a way of landing that Judgment because of warp step, so he has to just wait. What happened to that Muramasa? Did he just throw away?
Yeah, he's gonna have to throw away the Muramasa. He didn't get a chance to use it. And this goes back to what you said earlier. This is why you don't often see a lot of people take 5-chip hands into a round, because you don't know, based on the timing of when you want to use your chips and what strategies you're trying to employ, you usually don't have the time to get all the value out of all 5 of your chips in hand. And it's especially going to be the case in a fast gauge setting.
Definitely. And to be honest, I do agree with the other night in Twitch chat saying I think he overcooked. And to be honest, that is the impression I get from that turn. I'm not sure what Thiago was going for, but it definitely wasn't it.
He could have temporarily forgot about the warp step too. That does happen to some players where they're like, "Oh, that's right. I can't center myself."
You know?
Yeah, man.
I think that does check out with Thiago, because he always gets that cheater luck with bug fix turn 1, so he doesn't even get to deal with much of his bugs.
It's all circumstance. Only he can confirm or deny at this point. Okay, any turn elect pulse is going to force either a cross or an option this, but oh man, the cuss bug is coming. Losing dust so early is not an ideal situation to be in at all. Already to 5 chips in hand, and it's only what, turn 3 we're coming into?
Yeah, I'm not actually sure.
That's rough. Not okay, it should be turn 4. Oh, it's turn 5. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Uninstall landing for Thiago, but
nice
unfortunately,
barrier.
Yeah, so being SoulXCross means that davidvvv still has access to airshoes for free, and Thiago is running very low in chips, down to 3 chips, and the next turn is going to be brutal because 2 of these chips in his hand are going to be different codes, so he can only take 1 each turn.
Oh yeah, this is going to be very rough for Thiago indeed. But meanwhile, looking at davidvv, he's looking at a full hand, looking at the board, looking back at his hand, thumbing through his cards and saying, I guess I can do this. I have options. I have ease. I got nothing but ease. Chip charging bubble star here is going to be really nice. Goes for the damage, gets the hit, a nice quick conversion. And Viz is going to deny this bubble star as well. What a turn for davidvvv. And he's able to just comfortably lay on the pressure here. Meanwhile, poor Thiago looking at his hand size dwindle by the turn. Not a situation you want to be in the slightest, man. It's just not a fun time right now for Thiago.
Yeah, definitely. And even though it does have slight edge on HP, this is really not what you want to be seeing. He's going to be forced to take 1 chip per turn.
Yo, this movement is kind of clean though. Able to just weave in and out, go ahead and just do whatever you want to do. Kind of ignoring the broken panels in the middle and in the frontmost middle panel as well. It's just a pretty convenient setup for a warp step user. I know he's feeling pretty good about that. But again, this hand is a problem. 1 chip per turn is not where you want to be.
Elements Man SP
okay, good TFC.
Chipping in a bit of damage, but because of these get-ins, we might actually see Thiago getting trapped. Oh, davidvv didn't have time to use the second get-in to break some of these.
Hold on a sec, hold on.
Yeah?
Thiago's still winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold up, like this is a pretty good situation. Hold on.
I mean, if Thiago's able to get a lot of hits from that medium knuckle, still definitely close, but being in the middle and that life are just going to deny that. I mean, while Thiago still has good HP and that getting that bug fix finally, so he is still in the game.
It's not just a bug fix, it's the perfect combination of chips that you want to see in this exact turn. Alongside this Tengu, you're feeling extra nice. David is going to use this turn just to recover, get that HP back, feel a little bit healthier.
Yeah, and I mean, don't forget, Thiago also still has recoveries in the folder, and that is one of them. So he still has access.
That's all his chips? That's all his chips left?
Ooh.
Oh no.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, no.
This is very bad for Thiago.
Ooh.
So that's one of the scary things about custom bug actually, is you can't even tell how many chips you have left. So you suddenly realize, wait, is this all I have left to work with?
Okay, let's talk about what he does have. He has Tomahawk and an area grab. That's solid damage. If you're taking this area grab, you gotta go Tomahawk. You can't stay Tengu. It has to be a Tomahawk turn. And additionally, we do have Buster Bug, which it does matter. 30 damage is not exactly the maximum amount of hits you want, but it's still pressure that you can use at any time. Tengu's gonna go ahead and get rid of this and get the D-Cross locked in. Very fortunate here for Thiago, but it's not over yet. You gotta go Tomahawk here. This is one of your win cons at this point. The one area your opponent doesn't have an answer for it, and that life aura is going to be pretty nice. But you know what's even nicer to deal with a life aura? A guardian, a friend that stays there when you need it. Going in for the area grab without. I don't like this decision. Take the 200. Take the 200. Take the 200.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would have been interesting position. So despite Thiago running out of chips, there is still that damage judge win condition. So if Thiago is able to survive until the damage judge, he still has a chance of winning this match. But this is looking worse and worse for him. And yeah, he's doing what he suggested.
Very nice. Good defense. You're going to have to take the 200 regardless, but the cost is more than what you need. Go for these charge shots. Have to do it. Oh, that's a good-looking turn. That's a real good-looking turn right now.
Yeah, I mean, davidvvv is basically going for the kill. If he's able to get a good number of hits on the meteor knuckles, he can still win. But
what are you doing?
Saying what is happening?
No! David, what happened? What changed? What changed, David?
Okay,
what
this is
happened?
the final turn. So if David goes into beast level, that means we'll go into damage judge. Don't forget that Gundal Soul technically counts as HP drain, so damage judge wouldn't be affected by it. I think in this position, David would still win the damage judge, but I'm actually not quite sure because of the HP difference.
It's close. I'm really not certain either. It's gonna be close. What is the damage?
Ooh,
wow, just barely.
HP.
Oh
barely
man. I think 100. Oh, wow. I mean, we did see 2 recovered 300 from davidvvv, right? So that's what made it really hard to tell who was ahead in terms of damage there. But he could have won this game, PZ. He could have won. What happened, man? He went for the cross slash. Did he get the cross slash in the X position?
I thought
he did, right?
Yeah, no. So davidvvv ended up missing the input on cross slash in his normal set, but he did win the damage judge. That's why we're going to game 3, no?
Fair.
Yeah, I think he barely won the damage judge.
That choke just now was still enough.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know. He's not even moving his cursor. I know he's breathing. My man is breathing right now. He's like, David, I understand. I'm here for you, brother. I get it. He's like, I almost threw. I almost threw, bro. Oh, man. Wow.
I mean, looking at the field start of game 3, this is a pretty nice start for davidvvv because they have a lot of these aqua chips that can be very powerful. So using Aqua Dragon on ice isn't going to flash. It's actually going to apply another freeze, which can allow for quite a lot of combos to go with Spout as well.
Wait for the be left and go for the suck? No, wait for the barrier.
Oh, there was another TFC. But now, this is actually very nice for David because they can completely avoid these stones from flying at them by camping that broken hand.
So in this position, you kind of want Thiago to kind of forget about the ice cubes, maybe. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen, but okay, locking in this Geddon means we're gonna throw some cubes at you. And ice cubes hurt. I don't know if you ever had an ice ball thrown at you. Not a snowball, but an ice ball thrown at you. It doesn't tickle, man. Let me tell you. First-hand experience.
Is the ice ball even a thing? How does one make a...
Have you never been hit with ice balls when you crunch the snow into this ball of ice and just...
That's still ice. That's not ice. I mean, that's still snow.
It's a real thing, dude. It's a real thing. I guess that's a New York classic. We used to do that all the time and throw ice balls at the bus. That's what we used to do. We were terrible kids. Yeah, interesting situation here. You're gonna have to beast out for davidvv because you don't necessarily need to beast out. You could go Tengu, but you're kind of scared of Muramasa. You don't want to just free alley-oop your opponent some big damage.
See, that's the thing. Muramasa in this position, we can see it here, will only do 8 damage. So we'll see last game when Thiago tried to go for a low damage Muramasa and how that went, but I guess he is going for it. I genuinely...
Well, you have to think of it this way, right? Through the course of this turn, are you not going to take a buttload of damage, right? You can even opt to not take the invis, eat all this damage, and then boom, we got a free Muramasa for 500.
But he's also starting with fast gauge, and that basically means he can't take that much damage. But getting into the rush as well, if I was davidvvv, I'd probably use a chip charge immediately, try to get in good amount of damage. I think
he's so lucky the opponent went for barrier 200. So lucky because he'll still have enough time. Oh, he's gonna throw away Muramasa again?
Oh no, Muramasa.
What's happening? This is not my Thiago.
Yeah, I agree.
This is not my Thiago. I don't know what's happening.
Very off-brand. The Thiago I know usually uses Muramasa to get like very close, does 1,000 damage with them, always wins him games. It's literally, I was thinking before we jumped into the game that this Muramasa is going to decide the game, but Thiago just throwing it like that is not a good sign.
Yeah, this is Star Force coming into effect here. I feel like he's forgetting certain nuanced decision makings, and he's just locked in on that Star Force ideology. He's like, man, I can hit through this Invis if I have the noise panels. And oh wait, I don't think that's how that works.
Ooh. That was a very nice dodging that Bubble Star type 2 with ground cross chip charge.
Such a good chip charge, really good defensively and offensively in the form of breaking up panels and taking care of sanctuaries and such like that. It's such a great cross. There's not a single downside to Dust Cross other than machine gun, cursor chip. Like, it is just a great cross. You know, honestly, now that I think about it, I don't think many crosses have very big downsides.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, nice! This is not gonna hit now!
And the follow-up with Judgment. But I actually don't like the order because decrossing with Judgment means Thiago's unable to decross with the Electro, so he lost out on quite a lot of damage there.
No, okay, that was a great turn for Thiago, right? 530 HP is pretty low, and the hand doesn't seem too favorable, but we do have Recover 300. Okay, so maybe that's gonna be our saving grace here. Not locking in Element Man. Okay, you know what? Probably in fear of all the broken panels. Makes sense. Tengu Man will get the double hit here.
Well, let's see the value we can get out of that Guardian. So far, davidvvv has been using it excellently. The Element Man SP is going to land, but Guardian being dropped. David has... Oh, okay, never mind. Activating immediately.
He said, I'm just not dealing with this. I'm not going to take it. All right, fine. You can have your 200 damage, bro.
Fair enough, yeah. I guess he does have the HP to spare, and if looking at this hand, so he's going to that Meteor Knuckles. Thiago's trying to go for the finisher this time. And looking at davidvvv, so looking at davidvv's side, he doesn't have any defense, which might make it rough if Thiago is able to get access to all of that area. Looks like David's going with the Magnum instead of taking his own Meteor Knuckles, and Thiago might be changing his mind as well. Maybe going to take a Wind Drag, taking it a bit slower. Yeah, looks like he's taking his time. We're still in 10-7, there's plenty of time to go. Magnum is going to connect, but Elements Man in exchange, and every HP davidvvv loses much more impactful because of how low they are.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to worry about Surprise Muramasa, though, so it's not too bad. We do have another Recover 300 in the folder somewhere as well, so that could be enough to bring David to that edge. There goes the other Recover 300 in hand right now, and we have Erase Man into Element Man. We could even go Element Man, Erase Man if we wanted to, but I kind of like the Recover and the defense because we're so low, and we just don't want to be caught up in a situation where we're getting pressured by Thiago in a corner with all these area grabs he has in hand as well. So yeah, I definitely think this is the right course of action. Grab Banish is going to come into play. Double area grab is going to lock down for Thiago.
Ooh, and this
Here comes the second one.
Very rough because now davidvvv doesn't have access to any power, but we were just seeing that. Oh no, using the wrong TFC, losing the anti-damage as well. This might be game for Thiago. He's able to get a few procs. The recovery going in just in time.
Oh man. Wow. Okay, but only 2 chips in hand, Meteor Knuckle and a Life Aura. Locking in this Meteor Knuckle, it has to deal the deed right now. But this could be a good situation.
So, in this position,
this is rough.
Thiago only needs 4 hits for that Meteor Knuckles to connect. What davidvvv can do is try to use an area grab to reduce the amount of area and basically try to take less damage, but this is still very scary. And yeah, the TFC coming down. Has the TFC with an area grab? Wait. No way!
Knuckles! In this configuration, in this time of the year, one place only in that text of boxes, you only got 2 hits? What is going on? That survival! Yo, David is reeling! Walking in all the defense is ogre now, baby! Putting all the defensive stops. No cross change? Where do you get your DPS from? Where is that coming from? It has to be a cross. You gotta change. It can't be Tengu. Has to be something like Tomahawk Cross. Did we see Tomahawk Cross already?
Ooh, this is very close. Looks like davidvvv is going for more defense.
Yeah, lock it in. It has to be Tomahawk. It has to be Tomahawk. What are we doing?
I mean, if
not getting the recovery?
The problem is if David goes into Tomahawk, they don't have any ways.
Okay.
I mean, they still have ways of dealing with the life orb, but having Tengu makes it much easier to just remove that.
Oh boy. You're playing with fire. You're playing with fire.
I mean, I think you might... Oh, okay, so looks like we're playing with a life move. No, okay, so still going for the fire attack, dealing with that life orb, but David has 200 HP left. Though, looking at these chips, David still has some of the more impactful chips in hand. Life orb, which Thiago has no way to answer as well.
This is it. This is the end game now. 96 HP. Played it out all the way to the end. Now I can go for these tip charges. Get that recovery. There's nothing you can do. There's no time to run away, Thiago. But we do still have Tengu. We can at least clear the barrier. But that's not after a double flash of damage. And
getting decrossed. And now 1, 2 hits.
3 hits.
Ooh, this is very scary. We're looking at damage judge coming up soon. Thiago has no way of landing any hits against davidvvv. If David stays in Tomahawk Cross, yeah, but these panels are broken. So if David plays it smart and avoids getting hit by Buster Procs, he can potentially win.
It's a fast gauge turn. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Oh no!
Okay, there's one. It's over. It's over.
That's
over. Wow. Wow. Wow.
What a game. Thiago was so close to winning.
Wow. Wow. What a way to lose the set. What an intense match that was. Wow, bro.
Brutal. Thiago was able to survive the last few frames. He would have been able to go into damage judge and win from there. He didn't use any recaps that game, so he had the higher HP to win, but it's just that final charge shot coming down.
I have to say, dude, like, this is a lot of Thiago's fault in a way, because it's one thing to go for a Muramasa, like in operation, you successfully try to go for it and use that chip, but you don't do the damage because it hit an anti-damage or a barrier or something. But he was throwing away a lot of powerful chips, and in part, I do believe it was because he was afraid of the cust bug, because it affected him so heavily in the earlier games, right? So he didn't want that to happen. So he wanted to get through his folder to find bug fix or something. But he threw away a lot of chips. Yeah. That's where most of his damage went.
Yeah. I mean, that is definitely unlike Thiago. Thiago generally plays it very patient, leaves Muramasa until the very end, always tries to get decross with it. And to be honest, when playing against him, it's one of my main fears, going against that Muramasa. But
yeah, it is. It really is. But you know what? The nerves were there. I mean, even David, he threw a whole combo. He could have. I mean, he still won by damage judge for the 100, but he threw that whole combo. It was a lot of pressure on both sides there.
Yeah,
and it was insane. It was crazy.
Definitely well played to both sides, and that is the pressure of tournaments, and that what can sometimes happen even to the best of players. Well, with that, let's head into the setups for our next match of the day with Anime Caveman vs Josue. So looking at the Navicus to begin with, it immediately captured my attention. They both have the exact same Navicus in the exact same orientation. Sometimes you see people using the same Navicus or the same parts, but they have them arranged differently, or like they have different colors and stuff like that. But in this case, it's an exact mirror.
I'm you from the future. But it's also really cool how different, despite the Navicus being similar or the same, how different the builds make the match feel. Like we have Bug Death Thunder here versus Meteor Knuckle. Now, we don't get to see a whole lot of BDT, but it is a very, very debilitating chip once it is in play, controlling your movements. A lot of people think that it's just the 200 damage, it's just the paralysis that makes BDT so impactful. It's the movement and patterns that you are forced to take because it's in play that it makes that much more powerful to debilitating to deal with, right? So you have to be able to understand how to play against a BDT player in order to counterattack them. If you can remind me, PZ, do you remember when the dead zone of a BDT after it's released or when the attack is used, that you can attack the opponent and they can't do anything about it? It was after they dropped the gun from releasing the BDT, right?
Yes, that's correct. So that activates a thing called chip lockout, and what this means is basically Anime Caveman would be unable to use a time freeze counter, so they can't TFC any chips. So that would be one of the main things to watch out for Josue, because he's able to land some of these big chips in that time, like Element Man SP or the Meteor Knuckles. There is basically no other way Anime Caveman can respond.
It's gonna be tough for Josue to deal with the pressure of BDT, and honestly, it's the area grabs, it's the pressure from dealing with Justice 1 even. That's a one-sided soft getting that can lock up your area, and if you're not in the right cross or beast out form, you can be forced to deal with the damage of that, right? This is a very, very well-crafted build from Anime Caveman that can just put a ton of pressure onto the opponent. I even like the White Shot in here. White Shot, not a commonly used chip, but it is an undodgeable, in theory, battle chip that can put an uninstall on it. And it can be chip charged for 200 damage. There's just a lot of thought in the decision makings of the folder that makes it so impactful. But Josue here, don't count them out yet either. Raceman SP, Element Man SP, just doubling up on the most powerful megas in the game is already incredibly impactful. And you do have that barrier 200k to go alongside with that. And most of this folder is frightening as well. With the Heat Dragon, with the Doll Thunder to cover these pesky Aqua Cross or Tomahawk crosses that do tend to come into play. It's just a lot of variety, even Neo variable in here on code with the Meteor Knuckle as always. Just a lot of scary chips for a Bowser player to be looking at. So this can be a very explosive match.
All right, with that, let's head into the final match for today and see how it plays out.
Last operation, set in, execute.
Does it always say in?
All right.
Is that an extra thing you just added?
Yeah, that's a Japanese thing. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, really?
It's set in. Yeah. Instead of jack in, they say set in. Oh man, okay. But this is a really good starting hand. We can start defensively, which is interesting. A lot of people generally don't start off heavily on defenses, but we also don't see a cross coming out right away. And we're locking in slow gauge. Interesting decisions here from Anime Caveman.
Yeah, I mean, so Anime Caveman is playing Bug the Thunder, and the typical thing you'd expect from Bug the Thunder matchup is the BDT player wants to immediately go for the full cost, try to get more digging, but keep in mind that Anime Caveman does not have first barrier, so you might be worried about an Erase Man or D-Cross, as you can see here, because Josue does run Erase Man SP as well, which is devastating to get hit by.
Oh, I love this
Oh.
decision just now from Anime
Wait.
Caveman. They're throwing, wow, turn 2? He's cheating.
Turn 2, but
He's
defender without even going into dust. That is, I think.
Cheating. Oh my, 4K. Anime Caveman in 4K. And look at it, he's locking it in early. I'm perplexed.
I think that's
Must be
literally
nice.
the earliest. It's like chip number 10 or something, because they didn't even take that many chips into the turn last turn, so it must have been very high up in the folder. But here we go.
Ooh, this is looking bad. Oh, that's not good.
Unfortunate.
That's not good. Yep. I need you to deal with this one, homie. Just hold that for real quick. You know, don't worry about it. You can dodge it. That's fine. The area is a little awkward. Step back. Yes, so smart.
Nice.
So smart, Josue. So smart. I don't have to deal with it if I can just make that fall off. And you know what? Not for nothing. This is a feature to the patch that Mars has implemented. It is a patch that always considers the opponent, both players in as player 2. What does it exactly do? But it makes the situation always happen where the BDT ball will fall off of the screen. Now, on the GBA version, if you're playing as the client, I believe, the BDT ball actually will not fall off the screen. Instead, it will continue to linger on your board, even if you're like in this or not flashing. So it's a really broken ability for who's host or client, which is why back in the day, we used to make it so pivotal for the host flip, especially since BDT players were much more prevalent due to the lag and latency that came with playing online. So this feature actually makes the matchup much more balanced in a way that it always does something that allows you to play around it.
Yeah.
That being said, it's not a crazy nerf to BDT. It's still BDT. It's still going to be putting a ton of pressure, but giving your opponent a slight out in a situation where they don't have to worry about being host or flipping a coin to have a winning matchup, like, it's just better overall for the health of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it basically removes the host client advantage, which makes it even for both sides. So it doesn't matter which side's host or which side's client. You don't even have to think about it. That's how, we forget how these interactions work, because it's such a not thing anymore. So.
Yeah. It's not, yeah, you know what, Honor Knight, you're right in Twitch chat. It's not necessarily a balance change. It's normalization of host client interactions. So it's not like it's something we're doing to the game that's unintentional or hasn't been done or isn't a feature already in the game.
Ooh, very nice.
And LC, good grab revenge. Get the area crack as well. In Balneric Legacy Collection, it works as host-client interaction still. So it goes back to the old ideology of what happened. Yeah. So if you're not host or not considered host in that situation, it will affect you. The BDT will stay on screen. Honestly, Legacy Collection is pretty rough around the edges in terms of PvP, I feel. Not that it's a bad game. I think it's a great game. But it left a lot to be desired. Like, I feel like there's so many changes that, as a community, we've made already eons ago that just was not implemented into Legacy Collection. And it's kind of unfortunate. White shot here in good spaces, cannot dodge that. Beast Rush could make it a little finicky if Josue was standing in the front row, or the back and moved to the front row, but it's pretty okay here. Good area grab, but the Judge Man right at the tail end, gonna get these panels right back. Oh, Justice won. Such a good chip. We used to laugh at it a lot. Way back in the day, we thought Justice 1 just wasn't really valuable. But I think we were immature in the PvP applications of it, right? Truly. Center perma hole obviously turns the chip off. You can't change that. But to one side, even if you don't deal the 200 damage or hit with the Justice one, cracking all the panels, he even got the barrier on that. Oh, you thought you were safe. You summer child.
And actually, I wonder why that removed the barrier, because that was barrier 200.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're right. It changes the panel before damage. Yo, you're right.
I actually wonder if that's not the case. I don't remember which way the interaction works, but I think the real reason might be because Josue was in Invis, and I think this technically counts as an object. So Josue takes multiple hits from that, which instantly removed the barrier 200.
That makes more sense. Okay, that does make more sense. Oh man.
Oh no, I was just going to say very nice movement, but that's the problem with playing against BDT. If you're not very careful, you can very easily trap yourself and get hit by all of these. Ooh.
Oh, not a good situation.
That would have been very helpful to avoid taking 400 damage from the BDT earlier.
Oh, Buster Bug doing what Buster Bug does, man. Getting away on that anti-damage. Now you're forced into a position where you kind of have to respect this BDT even more than you wanted to. Area grab coming down as well is going to make it even more difficult to avoid these Thunderballs of Doom, man. It's such a tricky matchup to circumvent.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely changes the way you have to play against, but I'll have to say, I mean, there are plenty of counterplays to it. So Enemy Caveman does not have super armor anymore. There are plenty of ways to play around Bug the Thunder, even with just movement or trying to land your own hits, even just by looking at the folders in the matchup. For example, Enemy Caveman does not have any sword chips, and they basically have access to no sword damage left. So if Josue is able to land a few area grabs and get these charge shots going, then he's basically confirmed going to interrupt every time.
Yeah, this is a great situation here. Oh, got clipped. Okay, but the other Thunderbolt ran out just before the damage could be done. So that's actually pretty favorable for Josue, but they're low on HP. Now, Eraseman, this is a big confirm. What do you have behind this? Is it a cross slash?
Oh, it's Meteor Knuckle. That's actually very important, because what this means is now Enemy Caveman is stuck in the area. So that's going to be confirmed as well.
Triple!
1 HP. That was very nice timing from Josue, getting in with the flashing, landing in all of these charge shots.
He said you thought she was sweet. Why? Nah, cuz. Ain't nothing sweet out here, cuz. We gonna have this damage in a second, homie. Just hold on. I'm on my way. Yo. Oh, what a complete reversal of fate. Going into Tengu is ideal here. Starting off with the roll. Gotta TFC it. No answer. Go for the full cut. Such a smart decision making from Anime Caveman here. Get the escape.
Look at 1
HP and your opponent has Tengu.
And
what do you do?
Has no defense. The only thing he has is that life orb. But life orb in this position basically does nothing. He's opting to go into Beast Over, but with this much HP, Beast Over is not going to do anything to Josue.
Yeah, he only has the 1 HP anyway. I think this is an appropriate decision. I don't know what we do the turn after. We could go for the Recover 300 if we draw the second one, if it hasn't been used already, that is, and possibly go for something else. Oh, good movement, Josue. Good. Oh, the Recover 300. That's so clean. He's not even touching anymore.
Oh, wow. I mean, these Buster Frogs still doing work.
He just started blasting on that voice. I'm like, oh, GG's, clap it up, bro. You got it, bro.
Oh, wait. Thunder Poison Funnel. Oh, the betrayal. The betrayal. The one panel.
I just started blasting on him.
The one poison panel of the whole field is landing on that.
He was like, yeah, I get it. You're controlling my movement. I can't go forward. So anyway, I'm just going to drop all of this damage in one turn and make it completely impossible for you to respond. GG, friend. Shake my head. Oh, well, that's not necessarily true, right? We're in game 2 after all. Anime Caveman does have an opportunity to fight back and fight back he will. He's not going to take that line down. No, sir. Especially since he was actually in a good position throughout that match. He was controlling the board quite well with BDT and understanding how to use it to best crush Josue. Josue just was able to find an answer in the nick of time, making it a win con for him and just sealing the deal, man. And you know what? Face tanking the beast over was just genius. Even if they didn't end up on that panel, mashing B in that situation, it's impossible for you to dodge. It is so difficult. I mean, you probably could, but the likelihood of you dodging in that situation is rough.
Yeah,
I mean, really good thought process and play.
It was still pretty funny where Josue took almost 350 damage that turn just from these buster procs, which shows how much they can add up.
Yes.
Going into game 2, Enemy Caveman starting with a life aura immediately, trying to preserve Dustcross. So this is a very different
I
start.
He doesn't have the faith that, you know, maybe he's gonna just open turn 2 BDT again. If he opens turn 2 BDT, I'm gonna be upset. Especially if he doesn't shoot for it. Like that. Ooh.
And look, it was in the exact same position was last game as well.
I'm gonna head out, bro.
Look, so
I'm gonna head out, bro.
They're playing a different game. Bug fix turn 1 from Josue, life or a turn 1 from Enemy Caveman, and then BDT turn 2.
Mm-hmm. Wait, are we? If he shoots and find bug fix on top of it, I'm molding. I'm gonna mold.
Okay. Almost.
Bro. I just want to make sure. Just gonna have to call the judge on this, man. I don't want to have to do that. Oh man, jeez, dude. Must be nice to find your gig at turn 2 consistently, you know?
Yeah, I know. Especially for something like BDT, because the earlier you get it, you can start getting in way more damage.
Yeah. Oh, good movement. Good movement.
Unfortunate. Getting that decross and removing the trap would have been very nice for Josue, but now he has to deal with that BDT.
And you know what I love? It's small nuances that Anime Caveman does with BDT. He throws the Thunderball all the way from back there, not to, you know, it's slower, right? It goes to your opponent's board slower, but it forces the opponent into a position where, okay, I don't want to be in my front row because I want time. Then he goes for the area grab, right? To guarantee he gets those panels. It is such smart placement. And the mag panels betraying Josue just now was not what they wanted to see. There goes the bug fixing hand as well. This is looking really good, but it looks good for Anime Caveman in the first game. You know what I'm saying? So looks can be deceiving.
Yeah,
it's not over yet.
All Josue needs is another big turn like that. And don't forget, he still has access to quite a lot of powerful chips. There is still that combo we saw in the first game with Meteor Knuckles, Neo Vari, but there is Erase Man SP, Element Man SP, some R-Code chips which can do quite a lot of damage as well. Ooh, staying in Tengu is actually very smart, because if Josue had crossed out, he would have lost.
Nice.
Ooh, nice. So having Sanctuary panels as a backup anyway, and using that grab revenge a bit too early, unfortunately.
Oh, nice. Ooh, oh, that's perfect. Anime Caveman will get the frame trap here. I'm not sure if the Thunderball will meet. Oh, doesn't matter. I let go of the other one in the first place. That's so good. That is so good.
Oh, unfortunate timing for
Justice one.
Barely off on being able to interrupt these charges, and Enemy Caveman just gets the slight edge, which for BDT, that could be all he needs.
Wow, bro. Wow. Justice one is so good in this position, just clearing out instantly all these Sanctuary panels. And I love the idea of saving the Sanctuary panel and the revenge for the end game. Oh no, he's locking it in now. He's not shooting. Really? Really? How interesting. Your opponent hasn't shown you Element Man yet or anything like that, right?
Yeah, I don't think Josue used it. So That is definitely a very real risk.
Okay.
Ooh, erase mana speed. Oh, that will be painful. And it does land. Very nice timing. Doing 420 damage.
That should hit. Oh, nice. Good damage from the BDT Thunderbolt here. Another one coming onto the board. Thankfully, the Sanctuary panels are in play here, so it's looking pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a nightmare situation for Anime Caveman because his main win condition is trying to out-sustain the opponent. But the way it's looking, it's taking quite a bit of damage, and these holy pounds from Josue are putting in a lot of work. So Anime Caveman needs to take that Justice 1 this turn to clear these Sanctuary panels.
And what makes this Justice 1 even better is you know your opponent is about to step forward because there's no other movement for them to make without taking damage from these Thunderballs. And again, that's the power of BDT, forcing these movement options out of you. You don't want to make this movement, but you have to. And because you do, I am allowed to now follow up with something even bigger and more devastating that makes the BDT Thunderballs even more hard to deal with, but that's actually a good answer. But because the Sanctuary panels were cleared out, the second Thunderball was able to clear the life for it. That was like the only chip that could have saved Josue in that situation, and he drew it. Now it's a movement game. Takes the one, takes the two.
Yes.
That's a lot of damage.
Unfortunately, when being on minus area, it's no longer really a movement game. It's very difficult for Josue to avoid these BDTs consistently. In fact, there are plenty of frame traps for Anime Caveman to do. So what Josue needs now is to regain his area somehow or potentially keep interrupting Anime Caveman.
Yeah, but PC, we're going from a worse situation to an even worse situation. Now we are locking in the wide shot with this uninstalled, which is going to make it even more difficult to respond, especially if you're flinching and flashing all over the place from something like a machine gun. It's not going to be rough indeed. From the center, it can't miss. Good movement. Oh, invisible. Okay, that's really good. Let it fall off. Let that one fall off too. Excellent. Excellent, Divis. Very much needed right now. Not going to get the exact configuration he wants, but will change up the panels regardless. It is a slow gauge turn, which means here it is. Now the uninstall happens. Oh, he messed up. He messed up and didn't get there in time, and now he has to roll out like this. Speaking of roll, we're going to take the damage here from Roll and get some recovery too. It's not looking good for Caveman, but he does get the balls to fall off in the very end, thanks to the flashing awarded to him by Roll here. Such great awareness like that is important in this matchup. If your opponent gives you flashing, use it immediately as fast as possible because it only lasts for so long.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Josue is trying to make the best out of a really bad situation, and he's basically putting in work. He's making Anime Caveman work for the win this game. And don't forget, Josue still has plenty of damage left, so I think he might still have recoveries as well, and that Neovari Meteor Knuckles combo. And Anime Caveman is going into Tango Cross, so Neovari can do quite a lot of damage.
It's also evident to look at that Anime Caveman has been going through a lot of their defenses. Josue has been playing through these set defenses. It looks insurmountable, but this mountain can be climbed. It just takes key placement of these next few battle chips from Josue to completely reversal the game, just like he did in game one.
Indeed. And don't forget that Josue still has access to Dust Beast. And one of the things Dust Beast can do is chip charge to make you invulnerable for quite a long time, actually. And that can be a very good defensive and offensive tool to try to get in some damage, but also force these bug defenders to fly off the field as well.
Oh, there's a good recover. That's something we sorely needed for this moment. He might be chip charging right now. No chip charges. He decides to go for the anti-damage instead of chip charging it away. Ooh. Oh, good wind rack. Gets rid of the barrier. Good movement too. Gives him a second of time to deal with these Thunderballs. Gonna get rid of this here.
Oh,
goes for that. He's gonna miss. The Thunderball's gonna miss. And the Tanky Man misses too. Oh, he gets hit.
Yeah.
He gets hit.
I really like
the second one ended. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was so fortunate for him. Now, that's a great Heat Dragon right now. That is a phenomenal Heat Dragon right now on these grass panels. That's going to put you to 1 HP, and you're standing right at the tippy top. That's where I want to see you. That's exactly where I want to see you. I'm going to let this dragon rip immediately the second my buster drops. But there is that chip delay, which is very important. He's not going to be able to mash out this Heat Dragon immediately, which means you can use this opportunity. He goes for the cross. That's so smart. He gains movement again. Oh, so that's back. The area grab comes down. Not throwing. Oh, okay, there it is.
Meteor Knuckle comes down, but unfortunately, Enemy Caveman still has that machine gun, which, while Invis is going to allow Josue to storm, he's not going to be able to survive for long.
Oh, nice! 2 hits on the... Okay, it's not over.
Nice!
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Wow! It's a long time he has to wait. It's a long time. Oh my gosh.
So close. That was amazing play by Josue. Really showing the fight until the very end. He almost had it as well.
Oh, man. Wow, yo, you're out of your mind, kid. You're out of your mind playing like that. That's insanity. No fear in this man. I'm about to start calling Josue Daredevil. That's crazy. This man has no fear. He said 1 HP, it doesn't matter to me. I'm finna do all the damage I can right now, boy. That was pressure.
Definitely.
I was scared, bro.
Yeah, I mean, from that play, you can see why Josue was able to become the current Moon Master. So he won the last Blood Moon and he's going for his second go. But it looks like luck is against him, or I guess is on Enemy Caveman's side, because starting with, never mind, both of them are starting with life or a bug fix turn 1. Both are cheaters. And apparently...
Both of them are scumbags. It is what it is, bro. Okay, so it looks like Josue's the bigger scumbag.
you know they're playing a different game when Josue goes into Tango turn 1 because he knows Enemy Caveman will be that lucky and get life aura turn 1, and he gets it as well and clears the life aura immediately. Imagine making a raid based on your opponent's average luck.
You know what? It's really hard for like a beginning player to deal with something like BDT, but this is a showcase match for you to understand how to deal with it. It's hard. It is not easy to do under pressure. Heck, I fought Anime Caveman a few days ago, as a matter of fact. We had a tough match. It's not easy to play around the BDT, but all you have to know are your outs. How do I beat this? How does it work? I ended up losing our match because I forgot where the tip lockout was. And I couldn't use that to my advantage. I was going to drop a base for big damage, but he was able to TFC 2 base because I forgot about what the timing was on the chip lockout. So there are ways for you to win despite how debilitating it looks on the board. You just have to be patient. You have to be patient, and that's what Josue is showcasing for us. Playing around all that is not easy, but it can be done. It can be done.
Definitely so. And Soul, I mean, for that interaction you've just mentioned, what you needed to do was fish for the right timing so you could land base. But going back into the game, it looks like Enemy Caveman has another turn 2 BDT, but Josue fighting with his own erase mana speed, doing quite a lot of damage instantly as well.
I love the pull here just now, just to get a bit more damage quickly with these P-shots. Yes, nice P-shot damage here coming from Josue. All those damage procs matter. Everything matters. Good movement. Going in the circle. Goes for the invis really late here. I love that. He should have waited a second to see the purple. Stay back, stay back, stay back. Nice. Because he did. Oh, dang. He stepped up too early. If he had stayed put, he would have been fine, but he couldn't. Oh man, how rough.
Yeah, and I mean
the conveyor belt was pushing forward, so he had to get off that panel. Yeah, it was just not a good placement for him.
Yeah, it's getting unlucky on the field he started. This is the second conveyor field that's actually working against Josue and preventing his movement, which is vital in Bug the Thunder match. Ooh, very nice timing from Josue. The main thing is what Josue is looking for is trying to interrupt these Bug the But the thunder charges, they take so long, so interrupting them is definitely key. And enemy caveman throwing one away as well. That might have been a mistake.
Yes, and now we deal with the anti-damage, get our area back, go right back to the position I want to feel comfortable and good at. Such good placement. Thunderball coming into play. If we can wait for the drop of this Buster here, we'll have the timing to get something dirty up for Josue, but does he have the combination of chips in his hand? He's not currently in Dust Cross, so it's not like he has the option to go for something like a Dust Shoot to fix the hand a little bit, to set up something really nice and meaty. But if he has something in hand, like in a race man, he can do something quite devastating. Oh, that's the machine gun. Very nice.
And actually, that was a very smart play from Josue there. Basically, pulling the opponent forward to then use the area grab. While it does mean he has less area, he wants to use it to interrupt.
Too. Nice. Good movement. This is so tricky. Not enough. Oh, the losing beast out got rid of the charge. That's not great for Anime Caveman here. He has to start up another charge now. And it's going to give Josue just a little bit of time to make something happen again. It's these moments like these you have to pay attention to and try to take advantage of. But does Josue have something to take advantage of the situation? I'm not so certain, PZ.
Yeah, I mean, Josue did use Erase Man SP, but I think he still has a good number of his powerful chips left. So things like Element Man SP, the Meteor Knuckle Neovari combo that we've seen in previous games. I think the main thing for Josue is to basically keep doing what he's been doing. So interrupting the opponent, being able to land hits, because Enemy Caveman really doesn't have that many offensive options outside of his Bug the Thunder.
I mean, not for nothing, he's been playing out of his mind for these past 2 games. I feel confident that Josue can at least defensively play to his outs and get to his hands that he needs to. A late game dust, excellent. Late game dust is something that people do not often utilize. Look at that. A Sanctuary in this conversion is beautiful. My Sanctuary is here. Oh, we're going to get a strike. I'm about to sing again, boy. But this is exactly what Josue needs. Counter hit is rough here. But we have our charge shots. Charlie doing the job of breaking up the Sanctuary panels on the opposite side. We can even see a beast out here and go for a beast charge too that doubles up as a defense for this BDT Thunderball and does damage to this field in order to clear out as many of these panels as possible for Anime Caveman. This is the ideal situation. We didn't see any cursor. We saw a few cursors for Anime Caveman early on, so this dust could very possibly stick. I didn't see if he locked in a cursor chip at the beginning of this turn, but
no,
this is a great time to have.
Yeah, and I mean, the only scary thing for Josue here is being hit by that Justice one and all of these holy panels breaking, because then you'll be stuck. So Josue is doing the right play by going to Beast Over, getting the amazing read there. Very well played from Josue.
Nice. Very big recoveries here. In Twitch chat, Honor Knight said Anime Caveman doesn't have a sword chip. Yeah, he does not, which he did actually mention after our match earlier. He was like, I forgot to add a sword chip. I would have really liked to put Muramasa on his build. So going forward, he might actually putting Muramasa into his build. So there is that. That is one of the weaknesses here, but it's not much of a weakness when you got a field like this.
Very nice movement from Josue, avoiding these BDTs with that limited area. So now Enemy Caveman does not even have access to his Sanctuary panels. That was a magnificent turn from Josue. I'm shocked at how well Josue is playing it.
No, yes, me. I'm not shocked. Josue's nice. I'm not going to hold you. He's
definitely.
nice.
Definitely.
He's really good at this game. He plays this, bro. But these area grabs are giving me pause, Peasy. I don't want to see another area grab come down, because now it goes from being able to footsies around these terrifying balls of death to literally just accepting our fate at that point. And that's not where you want to be.
Yeah, though I'm really surprised Enemy Caveman did not even take one of the area grabs. Even just having one area grab can make it very difficult for Josue to move around, as we can see right now. but enemy caveman going just for the defense with the barrier 200 this turn. Maybe he's worried about the Elementsman SP coming up, but I feel like just taking another area would allow you to progress forward.
I agree. Do we see Judgment and Grab Revenge from Josue already? That could also factor into this decision. There's the Judgment.
I mean,
there's the Judgment. Okay.
That would have made a better case for even taking the area because you'd have been able to just go back and pressure forward again. Ooh, Knuckles. Does that trap?
Big.
It does.
That's huge.
Oh, this will be game.
Something's coming. Easy, something's coming, buddy. Something's coming.
Oh, the chip charge. There it is. Drill arm going in for the finish.
Are you okay? Buster Wolf.
Very nice play there from Josue. Definitely. I mean, after this match, you can definitely see why he's the current Moon Master, why he's won the previous Blood Moon. And with this performance, to be honest, he's looking at another win if he's able to keep this up into the top cuts.
Yo, anime caveman played out of his mind. He didn't do anything wrong, bro. That was really a good game. That was just a good game. It was hard for both players to get what they wanted to get into motion. But it just, Josue was able to play around it, man. The end of game drill drive. It's such great awareness using a multi-hit move for the end game. Genius. Even waited for the timeout, the flashing, played around the Thunderball, and having that invulnerability too, that just guaranteed that he had his way out. So that was perfection. That was some good battle memory.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, that was such an exciting match to finish off the stream with. But unfortunately, while this is the end of this stream, that is definitely not the end of the Blood Moon. This is going to be the end of the round robin stage. And while we don't have the final standings because today is technically the last day, next week will be the start of the top cut. So only 8 players will proceed. 4 from each group will advance into the top cut to fight for that Moon Master position. We'll see if Josue is able to keep up his performance and gain another Moon Master under his belt, something very few people were able to do, win 2 Moon Masters in a row, or someone else is going to be able to clutch out and take out that Moon Master role from him.
Man, if this is just what pools look like, imagine this top cut. It's going to be insane. Y'all cannot miss it. Stay tuned. More is coming, and we will be back for more.
Indeed. But unfortunately, that is going to be the end of today's stream. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and let's head to the credits. Again, thank you everyone for watching. This stream is definitely a blast. Huge shout out to Salad for organizing the tournament and working on the stream layout. And thank you, Sol, for joining me on stream. It's been quite a while actually since we've been together.
Yeah, man, I've been a busy man. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I am trying to stay in tune, man. These matches are just always so intense and a pleasure to watch. It's just a great time.
Definitely. It's always a pleasure to have you. And as always, a huge shout out to people working behind the scenes to allow the tournament to run smoothly. So thank you, Honor Knight, for looking through these votes and picking out these amazing matches for today's stream. And thank you to everyone who's been keeping up the scores and updating them, which I hear has been quite a fierce competition for who gets to report the score first. So thank you, Ralse, Rookie Spark, Ricochet, Honor Knight, and Backfire for that. But with that is going to be the end of today's stream. As always, I do want to give a quick shout out to all of the continuous donations we've been receiving through monthly subscriptions on our Ko-Fi. These donations are what allows us to keep improving and upgrading with our setups. And thanks to that, we are now doing a $50 cash prize for this tournament. And for the future, we are going to add in a lot more for our Ko-Fi page.
Also, just to add on the extra, thank you and Titas for also helping us keep scores during this week. We didn't mention that as well.
Oh yeah, apologies for that. I'll let Salad know to add that to the list. All right. But with that, thank you everyone for watching today, and we will see you again next week for the start of the top cut for this blood moon. See ya. Goodbye.
Later.